All right, you guys, podcast time. We got the equipment and the perfect business plan. Give our show away for free and tell no one how to find it. Ready?
Welcome to another episode of the Brand X Podcast. We are back. We took a 3-week vacation, and I just want to let everybody know it's okay to be white. I am your host, John, alongside me, my co-host, Deuce.
Come stop, bitches.
And Joe.
Tally-ho.
You know what? It was nice to take some time off. It was nice to reflect a little bit. I figured it would give you a chance to, you went to California.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I like social media. I've come to a conclusion about social media. It's a perfect storm. It's where exhibitionists go to meet voyeurs in a perfect storm, because you've got the exhibitionists like, hey, look at me. I'm here. I'm doing this. I'm eating that. Look at this thing I just read. And then you have the lurkers who don't say anything, but read everything. So it's a perfect storm. I'm somewhere in the middle. Because I like lurking, but I also like putting out content.
I don't think you lurk that hard.
What do you mean?
You're always out there.
No, but I do both. I do my share of lurking.
Yeah, but you're not lurking that hard.
Well,
you're working harder at being the exhibitionist.
I think I work equally hard at both, but you don't realize it because I'm a very good lurker. And I'll tell you why I say that. Because people make mistakes when they lurk. What the biggest mistake to do is when you're a lurker is expose yourself. And let me tell you a story. Remember back a couple episodes back when we had that story about the girl that was on Tinder? She had one arm. She was 21 years old. She had her arm cut off in a motor scooter accident. And while she was on Twitter and stuff I still follow her. She's on Twitter. And she puts out some pretty interesting stuff. And when I say by interesting stuff, some of it's pretty sexual, because like someday you're just going through your feed and boom, there she is naked. Like she's naked. There's a one-armed naked lady right there. And I'm like,
whoa.
Wow. Now I know way more about this woman than I ever thought I would ever know. Okay.
So now you just tipped your hand.
I do hear, but she doesn't know. Why? She doesn't listen. Unlike this gentleman who left a comment on the naked picture with the okay emoji and the finger emoji.
Oh, okay.
So it was the finger going into the okay symbol emoji.
Yeah, the hot dog into the donut.
The hot dog into the donut. And so she looked at his profile on Twitter, and there it is with him and his wife and his little child. And it says rightly, proudly in his profile, loving husband, father, So then she goes, hey, what do you think your wife would say about your little retweet there? And the next thing you know, people started looking for his wife online. They're like, we'll find her. We're going to dime you out. We're going to tell on you because we're bitches and we're going to get you in trouble because we don't know you. We don't give a fuck what happens to you. So we'll bury you and then sit back and laugh while we bury you. Well, he immediately just like, that was it. He was off Twitter. I think he deleted his account.
Damn.
He was gone, or he changed his name, or he did something.
Yeah, that was foolish.
Right. So what I'm saying is.
But why would she put the naked picture out there if she didn't expect a response like that?
She's an exhibitionist.
Right.
All right. And she's luring you in. She's like a spider. She wants you to say something. She wants you to fuck up and say, she wants you to expose yourself so then she can go on the attack. Yeah. I look at the picture and went.
And jerk off.
No, I did not jerk. Why did you got to go to jerk off? I did not go to jerk. I'm like, wow.
Right into the spank tank with her.
I'm like, wow, look at that. There's a one-armed naked lady there taking a selfie. What the hell's going on over there?
He immediately ran into the bathroom.
No, I didn't look at it and then run into the bathroom, and there was none of that. So I say that, as you put content out there, you have to be careful. You have to know when to be an exhibitionist, and you have to know when to lurk. You really liked that answer, didn't you?
No, it's just the look on your face. It's like I hit you in the face with a fish.
Well, Brian Tulip Jr. is a big fan. He watches here, he listens, he interacts with us on social media. He is not a lurker. He joins us, which we enjoy that.
Yeah.
And he said today when I put stuff up that we're coming back, he said, "Oh, I won't be there today." And I said, "Well, just subscribe and listen." And he's like, no, I like to watch the faces you make when Deuce and Joe do something that piss you off. I like to watch that face. Well, there you go, Brian. There's a reaction for you.
Like, what?
And then you jerk off. Jerk off.
You would
Turn to
expect
Japanese. Just turn to Japanese.
The funny thing is that was one thing that didn't
cross your mind.
really cross my mind. I was like, huh, she's got a tattoo.
Like you're 12. Oh, gonna go jerk off.
Yeah, it didn't come.
Oh, look at this. Oh, quick. It's in the bathroom. I gotta get over there.
Yeah, none of that. Yeah, so I was like, look at that. She's got a tattoo. And
is it of an arm?
she needs a waxing. No, it's actually of a son. These things I can remember.
A tattoo of an arm.
That would suck, wouldn't it? A severed arm tattooed on her bikini line.
Yeah, right.
That would suck. Yes.
See, the funny thing about that, though, some guys, they don't embarrass. They can't be, but, she could go on the attack all she wants.
Well, no, I understand. If you're single, you want to interact with her and you have nothing to lose, that's fine.
Yeah, right.
But don't put Father of the Year.
Yeah, but don't you think it's kind of
husband.
weird that she would put a nude picture of herself?
Absolutely would be.
And then she is, I'm assuming she was angry because what kind of response did she think she was going to get from people? Because men are deviants.
Right, dude. Well, first of all, she's a switch hitter.
Oh,
she seems to like dudes and women.
Mm-hmm.
So
for the other team occasionally.
Yeah. Listen, she likes to spread it around. From what I see, what I know, from what I lurk, this is what I find out. These are the things that I see.
I guess that's where that thump comes in handy then, huh?
The what?
Nah, no.
Say it. Don't do that.
That's where the stump comes in handy.
Oh, the stump. Okay. Yeah, I
No,
guess.
that was pretty bad.
Grind one out.
Well, I mean, she put on a costume for, I forget what she went as Halloween. I said, and I almost.
Captain Hook?
No, slot machine. The one-armed bandit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too easy, though. Too easy.
yeah.
Too obvious.
And the next thing you know, they were prying into my life. And Johnny doesn't need any of that shit.
Yeah, right. Is she hot at least? Or?
She's very hot.
Oh, okay. She's just hot with one arm.
Yeah, she's very attractive. She's a very attractive woman.
Yeah, I don't think Joe, that's one of the episodes Joe
Joe
missed.
wasn't here for that.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so
That's why
what
he doesn't
happened?
remember.
Yeah, her Twitter profile, her Twitter profile, but it was also from something she posted on Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we tried to get Daniel Repples to go
Right.
find her and see if he could date
She's
her.
in the San Diego area, I think.
Exactly. She's in the San Diego area. So what I'm saying is you have to really be careful on social media what you say because
It's
all these
forever.
well, not only that, but all these crying, whiny bitches are out there just waiting for something to pounce on because they're just watching this and they're looking for a reason to be pissed off and offended. And that's the way I feel about it. And I don't really care. So getting back to how I opened, it's okay to be white, is apparently somebody's going around. Whoever did this is genius. It depends on why the reason is they're doing it. They're going around the college campuses and all, and they're just putting a white piece of paper up on poles and everything, and all it says is, it's okay to be white. And people are losing their ever-loving mind.
Yeah, this is anaphylactic America, where, they immediately swell up and turn purple and have difficulty breathing and they need a shot or something.
Is this nationwide or just in one area? Or
Well, it seems to be going nationwide. On October 23rd, a YouTube channel uploaded a segment aired from the Boston television news station where the police were investigating if a white supremacist group were placing signs featuring a picture of Uncle Sam with the caption, "I want you to love who you are. Don't apologize for being white." It's a simple sentence. Okay?
Oh, God, that's horrible.
Right? Because as a white person, I believe it's okay to be white. But then again, I also believe it's okay to be black. And it's okay to be Asian. And it's okay to be who am I leaving out? It's okay to be
Pacific Islander.
Hispanic.
Because
There
that's on the
right
census now.
It's
There's
okay.
there's
You know
like
what?
10 or 11 of them.
Again,
now.
here it is. It's okay to be you.
Mhm.
It's okay. All right? There's no problem with that.
Oh, there is a problem.
Well, wait. I'm getting to the problem. The problem is when you take a group and you villainize them, marginalize them, then you become the racist. But they go, I can't be racist.
It's impossible.
I'm not white.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, well, let's unpack that a little bit. Because what you're doing is you're taking a race and you're marginalizing and villainizing them.
Demonize, vilify.
Yeah, exactly. All that stuff. And when someone does it to you, you don't like it too much.
Right, exactly. Well, that's what we got here.
Now, here's the other thing, too. These guys, the tiki torch, white polo shirt wearing, bicycle helmet wearing guys, these white supremacists, I got no time for them either. Because, I don't. Because I believe that it's okay to be who you are. And what the problem is, as time goes on, skin gets thinner.
Right.
Because we grew up in a time where none of this would have even been a thing. Like you'd have walked by and seen a sign that says it's okay to be white, and you'd went,
sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It was no big deal. You could tell a joke about another ethnicity. There you go. And it wasn't a big deal. Or of a certain religion. It wasn't a big deal. How many jokes when you were growing up did you hear? So a rabbi, a priest, and a minister walked into a bar.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Well, just watch any old Johnny Carson clip on YouTube from the 60s until he went off the air, or Dean Martin roasts, or, and it was just Flip Wilson show. Flip Wilson was hysterically funny. No one does that anymore, because so you won't get a sponsor, and
you can't say, okay, a Polak, a Jew, and a Dago walked into a bar.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say that anymore.
Well, you could, because they're all white.
No, because one of those groups.
One of those groups would be upset.
Yeah, you're right.
Right,
but 2 out of 3 are white, so it's no big deal.
One of my favorite jokes is it's a rabbi, a priest, and a minister, and they talk about how they decide what portion of the collection goes to God and what portion of the collection goes to the church. So the Reverend says, well, I take a circle and I throw everything up in the air, and everything that lands on the outside of the circle, that goes to the church, and everything on the inside of the circle, that goes to God. And the priest goes, yeah, I kind of do the same thing, but it's a little different. I take the money, I draw a circle, I throw the money up in the air. Everything that falls inside the circle goes to the church. Everything on the outside of the circle goes to God. And the rabbi goes, yeah, we do the same thing. We draw a circle. We throw the money up in the air. Anything God wants, he keeps in the air. Anything that falls down, we keep. Okay? You can't tell those jokes anymore.
Yeah. Like even if you watch television now, being an Italian descendant, I refuse to call myself a hyphenated American, but Italian Americans, as they are called, are still regularly stereotyped, discriminated, and it's.
Well, you say that because it's close to you. You see it more than anybody. I don't see that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, as far as other groups go, you don't see you do something like that to anybody else, they get pissed. There's boycotts. There's all kinds of shit going down.
Right. They call sponsors. They want to stop everything.
But every time I turn on the TV, I still got to hear, hey, bada bing, forget about it, and all that stupid shit. And I
just thought that was North Jersey.
Yeah. Well, it is
Jersey Shore and
Jersey. Yeah.
Well, then you had the Sopranos.
Sopranos, which my father, he hated that show.
And you have the Godfather. Okay.
Well,
Goodfellas.
But that was, you can understand the context that was done in, because they were like depicting mob life.
So was the Sopranos.
That's what I'm saying. You can understand the context that they were done, but the Jersey Shore, and it's just
there's people. There's a lot of people. They see this.
They think that's what we do all day long.
Yeah, and then there's the Jersey Shore.
Well, I think they think that's what mafia people of Italian
descent. They think pretty
every
much.
Italian person, really? Yeah. You think
I
that?
Think so.
Well, we were told I don't think. Again, you weren't here.
Okay. Well,
when we were kids, we were just assumed to be in the mafia because my dad had a pizzeria.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you laundered money back in the day.
Yeah.
That's how they laundered money.
Not just in a restaurant. There was lots of ways.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, any cash business, basically.
Exactly.
Liquor store.
Right.
Check cashing.
All that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All that money.
Package goods.
Yeah. Now they just use campaign contributions. But that's a story for another day.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, the mafias and all, they ain't got nothing compared to the shit that's going on. Some of this between, who's colluding with who. I even lost track. Who is actually colluding?
I don't even know.
It's like tennis. It's like
as far as I'm concerned, they're all doing it.
Yeah.
Both sides.
Right. Oh, everybody.
Both sides were doing it.
You know what it is? It's all this bullshit. They were doing it all along. Now they're getting called out on it. And at first they wanted to pin it on the other guy. But
right.
Then when they get caught, oh, well, everybody's doing it. It's like always.
Well, that's what I love about whenever somebody says something about Trump. The first people, all the Trump supporters say,
they all do it.
Well, you didn't say anything when Obama and Clinton were doing
I like
it.
That. Yeah. And what about,
Or when something happened during the George Bush presidency. Yeah. well, you didn't say anything when Clinton was doing, when Clinton did it. It's all wrong.
It's wrong.
It's all wrong.
That's what I said. Wrong is wrong.
Wrong is wrong. So I don't know. I mean, investigations over people putting up signs that say it's okay to be white. Basically, what they're doing is it's somebody who's got a warped sense of humor. And what they do is they just put up a simple sign to watch everybody lose their shit.
Yeah, right.
Or they're a provocateur and they're
yeah.
making a point.
Well, that's what it is. You don't know who put it up. I think that's his point. He's like,
right.
They don't know what.
Right. So what they're doing is they're basically starting a game. And the only winning move in the game is not to play. Because as soon as you play, then you're proving to everybody that...
you're proving the guy's point.
You're proving the guy's point.
If you crack down on, okay, we got to round up.
So now there's an investigation about a sign.
Yeah, and that proves the point, doesn't it?
It pretty much does prove the point.
There's a witch hunt going on about, we got to round up these people, find out who they are. It's.
I don't know what's going on with you. Hang on a second.
Yeah, I know. I'm noticing that myself. I'm going in and out.
You're in and out, Joe.
In and out. In and out.
Just like John was in the bathroom when he saw that photograph of that woman.
Whoa! There goes Deuce.
All right. How's that sound?
That's a lot better.
Yeah, it's better.
There you go. Because you were cutting in and out there.
It sounded like I was gating and then dropping.
Exactly. Wednesday, I was recording the She Podcast. That's where I record the show for Elsie Escobar, a Hall of Fame podcaster, and Jessica Kupperman, who used to be my co-host on the Off in the Weeds podcast. And I found out that it's National Podcast Post Month. And basically what that is, in 2007, 50 podcasters decided to make the first ever National Podcast Post Month. And what they did was they made 30 episodes in 30 days. So instead of writing 30 blog posts, they just decided to do 30 audio posts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this year they were talking about it, and I go, I'll do that. I'll do that on podcasting. Holy shit, is that a lot of work? This is day 4. And first of all,
have you hit bottom yet?
Almost.
Mm-hmm.
Now, first of all, for me to do podcasting like this is my jam. This is my wheelhouse. This is where I feel comfortable talking to other people, doing a show about stuff.
You bounce things off people.
Right, exactly. Then the other kind of podcasting is like where someone monologues. They just talk to the audience, like Juliet Miranda from the Unwritable Ranch.
Or Syndrome.
Who's Syndrome?
He monologues a lot.
Is that a podcast?
No, he's speaking French. Well, no, actually,
well, okay. Is the only Syndrome I know is from The Incredibles.
Exactly.
That's it.
So he monologues.
You sly dog! You caught me monologuing.
Oh. All right, you caught me. You caught me monologuing. So what happened?
I know Superfan Dave is getting a kick out of that one.
Well, as long as we're playing the Superfan Dave.
Yeah, he's here.
So
He's here, by the way.
Hey, Superfan Dave.
So basically what happens is that, for me to monologue, I just can't open the mic and start talking about a subject. Because as I said to you earlier before we started here, something happened on the highway from my brain to my mouth. Like it's full of potholes, detours, red lights,
fallen trees,
all kinds of stuff. So what happens is I start to think about something and it just never comes out of my mouth right. So what I have to do is I have to end up making an outline of everything that I want to touch on. Because if not, when I just go and I go back and listen to it in the editing phase, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I was there and I don't remember half of this shit. So what I have to do now, and basically Sunday is catch up day, because it was like Wednesday and it was the 1st of November. And we're like, okay, we're going to do one every day. And I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's no big deal. Then I start doing it and I'm like, I think this was a little harder than I thought it was going to be.
Right.
But the other thing was I was going to start interviewing people.
And you could have done this on any topic you want. You just chose podcasting.
Because it's what I know. It's basically what I know. It's stuff that I see a lot of other people doing wrong. Like now, the one that I'm going to do tomorrow is my podcasting pet peeves. So these are my podcasting pet peeves. Long music intros, cross-talking or talking over your host or your guest, not telling the listeners how to get in touch with the host, no show notes or
show nuts.
Show nuts. See, there you
These
go.
nuts.
These nuts. So no show notes or lackluster show notes. And please rate and review my podcast on iTunes because blah, 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 whatever.
You used to do that.
I used to do that. You're right. But so what happens is that because there's a false narrative out there that if you get all these reviews on iTunes, that'll boost you in the rankings. The only thing that boosts your rankings in podcasting is subscribers. So you notice now, all I say is please subscribe. Please share this podcast.
Right.
If you're listening, please subscribe.
Which always made more sense to me.
Exactly. So, and then long commercial reads where they say they get an advertiser for Casper Mattress. And they go and they talk about this Casper mattress for 5 minutes. I don't care. I know it's Casper Mattress. And if I want a mattress and I want to buy one, I'll go there and I got it. Mattress, Casper Mattresses. They're great. They're fantastic. It's the best mattress you've ever seen. Matter of fact, when I saw the picture of the one-armed girl naked, I was hoping that I was on a Casper mattress. So I could
masturbate.
Right before I masturbated. Exactly. And then, people begging for money on Patreon. That really goes up my ass. Please give us $1. Will you just give us $1? Because podcasting costs so much money. No, it doesn't.
What's it, about $80 a month?
Maybe $50. $50 a month or something like that. That's about it.
$25 a week?
Well, you figure it's $20 to host your stuff. It's about $20 for your website. And then if you use some kind of social media thing like Buffer or something like that, it's $10. I mean, your equipment you've already bought, that's a one-time layout.
Right.
Yeah.
But let's say you go fishing or hunting or you play golf or do anything. Let's say you go to the bar once a week and hang out with your buddies.
Whoa. What are you saying?
I'm just saying
here?
right here. I'm saying is if you go out to the bar with your buddies one day a week, and not you because you're happily married, but say Joe is, trying to chase down the elusive split-tail beaver.
Beaver? So he's into Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber?
Wow.
Not just Justin Bieber.
I didn't know. I didn't know I felt that way about him.
The split-tail beaver, if you're just chasing that, then, that costs money. So
that's the most expensive hobby you'll ever.
Split-tail bever is one of the most expensive animals.
For the record, I don't go out chasing anymore. I just
you don't chase anymore?
No. I don't.
Now he uses darts.
Darts, tranquilizer.
He's at the bar. No, it looks like a good one. Right.
Because I feel that roofies are a little beneath me. I'd rather go right for the drinks.
Right. Exactly.
Hey, look at the guy with the bamboo.
But to sit there, this is what I do like to do because I'm a sick, twisted individual. So I like to listen to a podcast where they beg for people to, oh, please, it's only $1. And really, to be honest with you, it is only $1. So what I could do is go to Patreon and you can sign up and pay $12 and it's for the whole year. Here you go. Here's your $12. So now what I do is I listen to them beg, oh, please, just $1. Because it's so expensive to podcast. Please give us $1. So then I wait a couple weeks and I go over to their Patreon to see how much what you're getting. And most of them have like $2, $3. So all that begging, whining, complaining, and crying for $3 a month. What the hell?
That sounds like a pretty good tax scam ruse.
Why is that?
All right, hear me out. Let's say you're your own podcaster.
Okay.
And you donated your own money to your own podcast.
Yes.
Could you claim that as like a charitable deduction or something?
Really?
Like that?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so because it's not a charity.
Yeah, but you're like donating money to a noble cause.
I mean, I could donate my money to Joe. Does that make him a charitable contribution?
But then there must be some way that you could like work that angle.
Yeah, but if you donate
on either on the
yourself.
receiving end or the giving end.
Well, if the podcast was part of a charity,
right,
then yes. But if the podcast,
you could theoretically like donate $200 a week to yourself.
Yeah.
But
then write it off.
Right. But if the podcast, if it's a charitable podcast, if it's let's say the Goodwill, that's not even a charitable thing anymore. That's a company, a corporation.
It's a corporation.
Let's say a church does a podcast. Let's say a church does a podcast and you go to their Patreon and you make a charitable contribution to the church's podcast. Mm-hmm. Then I would think that's a write-off. Mm-hmm. But if you got two schlubs sitting on the internet begging for $1, one's got, a nice picture. The other one looks like he's in, Syria in a refugee camp. After all the begging, see how much money they actually get.
And it amounts to nothing, very little.
Yeah, $3, $6. So all that money and all that begging.
I would guess that the guys that have the most successful patrons are guys that are somebody like Bill Burr and, guys like that because they're famous.
Well, here's how I feel about this whole thing about giving money or something like that. You have to be getting something in return. Mm-hmm. All right. So in other words, if I'm listening to a podcast and I really get enjoyment out of that podcast, I really, really like the podcast. And I'm like, what can I do for these guys? because they entertain me every week. All right. So what can I do? And they say, oh, I got a Patreon account. Okay. I'll go throw some money in their Patreon account or something like that. What I don't like is the signing up for
a monthly deduction.
Yeah, a monthly deduction. Mm-hmm. Like if I can give them $12, $24, $36, $3 a month or something like that's fine. But then what other people do, and this just happened with that podcast that's called Yelling About Sports. It's a Philadelphia-based podcast. It's with that broad that blocked me from Twitter because she put herself in a tiny T-shirt with her big giant hooters.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And somebody mentioned somebody was a lurker.
Yeah.
And they opened their stupid mouth, and then all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, I can't." Listen, you've got big giant milk duds hanging off the front of you.
Milk duds?
All right, and now
what do you mean milk jugs?
Jugs. You pick your poison, I'll pick mine.
Oh, chocolatey.
I'm a big milk dud fan. All right?
I never heard of milk duds.
So you got these big milk duds hanging off the front of you, and you jam them into this Flyers T-shirt, and you take a picture from your waist up
to your neck,
your neck, and they're sitting there right in my face. And then one guy
run into the room and jerk off.
Get that Incredibles music up. Oh, look at this picture. Oh, wow.
I take my phone, I put it down.
Look at this picture.
I go in the other room and right. Wow, man of action.
He sees that picture and
I gotta take care of this right now.
Okay. So anyhow,
Patreon.
They decide, I used to listen to that show all the time. I liked it. Well, they decided that, guess what? We're putting the whole show behind Patreon. And it's cost you $5 a month to listen to it. And you know what I said?
Look into it. F*** you.
That's it. I'm not listening.
Mm-hmm.
Not because their show's not worth $5 a month. When does it stop? Like now everything's a la carte nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you used to buy cable, you had 60 channels, whatever channels you have, 36 at the first. When at first it was like 36 channels. Oh my God, what am I going to do with 36 channels? Now there's a Brazilian channels. There's nothing, you can't find anything to watch.
And
they're still flipping through this.
So what I end up doing is now for me, I have YouTube TV. It's $35 a month. That's it. I also have Netflix.
Oh.
I have Netflix. So it's another $9. So it's $35 a month. And then I get Amazon TV because I have Amazon Prime because there's trucks dropping shit off here every other day. All right. So I get the free ship. So it's $99. So I have that. All right. So that's what I use for entertainment. I don't need all those other shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. It was $100 to have basic cable.
Yeah, it's costing me $195. That's for high-speed internet and basic cable.
I pay.
So I'm thinking I'm just going to get, because everyone at work's doing it, they're just getting the high-speed internet, and they're who's using Sling, who's using Netflix, and they're saving like $100 a month.
Yeah,
right. That's
exactly.
What I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to be doing.
$1,200 a year.
Mm-hmm. And if you have HBO and I don't have any premiere channels, if I had that on top of it, I'd be paying $250, $260 a month. Now you're approaching $3,000 a year on. Well,
now what these scumbags are doing, these networks are doing, is they're taking a show and they're putting it behind the paywall. The new Star Trek show.
Yeah.
All right, they put that on CBS On Demand. Mm-hmm. So now you have to pay whatever it is, $9 a month to go watch it. Yeah. I don't know how many people are
pass. I'll wait till it comes out on DVD.
If it does, they might never do that.
No, I assure you,
it'll come. Yeah, you're right. It'll come
eventually.
Out. It's no
big
deal.
But...
I'm really loving the hell out of that new show with Seth MacFarlane, The Orville.
The Orville?
I like it. I really like it. It's like Star Trek.
I don't really watch too much television, so
I don't either. But the shows. So this is the other great thing about their YouTube TV. It's $35 a month. Every show you get, you just hit a button and it records it, unlimited. You can't fill your DVR up with it. Yeah, okay? It's unlimited, so you can watch all the shows.
Well, it's probably cloud based, right?
It is. It's all cloud based.
Oh, there you go.
So what I do is I have the shows that I like. Right, I don't watch them. So then one day when I'm like, I got an hour, I want to watch some TV. I just want to watch some shows. I'll just go pick them from there and watch them, and then it's done. I don't have to worry about what time is on. When I just go in and say, which ones did I miss, and I just watch it from there. So that's the way I like it. And to be honest with you, I don't watch news because I get all my news from somewhere else. So, why do I need cable? Why do I need all that other? Why do I need $200 a month?
Yeah, really, all you need to be is connected, and you can get access to whatever you want.
Exactly. I pay $66 for the high-speed internet here.
I've talked about it before. I resent the fact that I'm paying for stations, and 6 of them I'm never going to watch because they're in Spanish.
Exactly.
6. I got basic Comcast, like $20 a month.
That's why I have 6.
Yeah, there's about 10 channels that I can understand, and 24 channels. That's all in foreign language. I ain't kidding you.
I hear you. Well, let me just tell you, on YouTube TV, there's one, Telemundo, and that's it. The rest, now there's not a lot, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I've been saying, like when Netflix came along, and I said this, talked about this before. I said, as soon as Netflix is able to be able to deliver without coming across Comcast's lines and all that,
right,
or Verizon's lines, that's it. Comcast is done. It's all over for them because what do they got? That's why they're moving into, now they're trying to get into the wireless game, and they're going to do
Netflix or Comcast?
Comcast is.
I guess. I mean, yeah, they're looking for something because things are drying up.
And if they do, they're actually in a pretty good position there. In fact, they could probably knock Verizon off their high horse because Verizon is mostly, even its fiber optics is pretty much across the land, whereas Comcast, they have satellites.
Well,
Verizon has satellites too. They need to bridge the state.
Not as many as Comcast.
All right. Not to get, so basically what I like about the Fios, which is what I have here, is my up speed is 100.
Oh, you can't beat it.
And it's and so is my down. Where Comcast was 100 up and 12 down.
Right.
100
it's
down,
the other
12
way around.
up.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
always faster to down.
So that was enough, So, and I was like, well, this is ridiculous. So that's why, and I love it. Now, here's the other thing. Since we were going through, I was doing a lot of changes here and all. I found out that my router was bad. Mm-hmm. And the connection from my computer into that router wasn't working, but the wireless was working. So remember when people were watching on Facebook Live and they're like, it's pixelating and all that, we're having problems?
Oh, it was your
because
router.
you're wireless, now I'm wireless. All of a sudden, we all dragged the bandwidth down, and that's when there was a problem.
Okay.
So during the 3-week vacation, I went out and got a new router. Now I'm plugged in, so now we won't have that problem anymore. How much time between listening to podcasts and podcasting and editing podcasts, how much time do I have to watch TV? I just pick the shows I really, really like, and that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You do what you can with what you got.
This one here we're going to have a ball with, just so you know. My boyfriend dumped me because my vagina smells.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's got to be one stinky clam.
Holy Christ.
Dr. Jen Gunter spoke out after commenting on recent reports that women have been using Vicks Vapor Rub to cleanse their vaginas.
Is that her picture?
Yes.
With the parrot hair?
Yes.
I don't think the guy dumped her for the...
She dumped him because he was complaining about the smell of her clam.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Now, there's nothing worse.
Using Vicks Vapor Rub?
Yeah.
Man, that had to warm up.
Yeah, man, holy shit, it's got to burn like hell.
Well, I guess it burns the smell right out of there.
The hell are they thinking?
If anything, it might intensify it.
The doctor has urged other women to break up with any partners who criticize their vaginas after sharing her own personal experience with a nasty fella.
This guy was actually doing her a favor.
Yeah, go watch that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like telling somebody has bad
I don't know,
breath.
but I mean, sometimes there's got to be something. They're supposed to be self-cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike a sex robot.
See, you're finally coming to the realization.
They're supposed to be self-cleaning. I mean, it's supposed to not.
I don't know.
Have you ever been with somebody where, like, I had to throw a mattress out one time?
Ooh.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
What the hell were you doing? Rubbing her all over the mattress?
I'm just telling you. I don't know what happened, but all I know is it wouldn't go away, and I couldn't take it anymore, so I threw the mattress out.
Oh, man.
All right.
So you didn't like sleeping in a seafood store?
It was worse.
I said
It was like
a Vietnamese fish market?
It was like seafood store next to a shit house. It was horrible. And it was in the mattress. It was like you couldn't get, it was like, you washed it. It was horrible.
God damn. Did the trash man throw up?
You see the trash?
Hey, Charlie, bring the truck back here. We got to...
And the trash truck smells better than the mattress did. God damn, who was this girl?
I wish I could remember her name.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, we're talking.
Were you on a flight?
No, I wasn't on a
magic
flight.
happened? And it was now or never?
No, I don't really remember. I don't really remember what the story.
All right, Rastro.
Let's put it this way: the relationship didn't last long.
She fucked your mattress, so that was it.
Mattresses ain't cheap, man.
Everything was going fine until the pants got to about mid-thigh, and then it was like, whoa.
Like
Jimmy.
Did the smell knock the buzzard off a shit wagon? I mean, what are we talking about?
Yes, it was horrible.
Wow.
It was horrible.
Like Mackie.
Yeah. It was like, because you're all ready to go, and then it's...
Yeah, that's a boner killer.
Right, exactly. The Jimmy...
It's the Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy. What
he says his move is like
he
has a gas mask next to him.
Now, he does the thing where he uses the finger to go down to take a swipe, and then he gives it a sniff to figure out whether...
Yay or nay.
Yay or nay. He gives it the swipe sniff test.
Just for good measure, he has a can of Febreze, I'm sure.
Unlike the good doctor here.
And Vicks Vapor Rub.
Oh, damn.
Who thought of that?
Vicks Vapor Rub.
All right, so...
That can't be good.
I don't know.
Does that feel good to them? I mean, Jesus, I wouldn't think about it.
Vagina expert, Dr. Jen. How do you become a vagina expert?
Well, let me tell you.
I guess if you're an OBYGYN, it kind of comes with the territory.
Right.
A vagina expert.
Right, exactly. Spoke out after commenting on news that women have been putting Vicks in and around their privates. Writing on her blog by pussystinks.com. No. Writing on her blog, the Canadian gynecologist slammed the ridiculous trend before revealing that she had previously broken up with a man who had criticized her privates. She said, "For what I am sure is the 100th time, the vagina needs no cleaning, and the vulva needs very little. I know an array of useless feminine washes and wipes at the drugstore, and the drivel spouted by Gwyneth Paltrow via Goop, I don't even know what that is, imply otherwise, but I'm the actual expert." The expert goes on. Dr. Jen then shared a very personal story about the time that she had to ditch a man who made disparaging comments about her vagina. She writes, "I once dated a man who insulted my vagina. He said it didn't smell right. He was an ass in other ways too, but I didn't see it until he
impugned. I've been waiting with bated breath till you got to that room. Oh boy!
I can't wait till he gets this one.
Boy, is this great!
He impugned my vagina. For example, he thought my hair would be better if it was straight. Sadly, I took the bait. It wasn't. Which hair is he talking about?
Well, there's a picture of it. If you scroll down a little bit,
I got you.
There's a picture of her. She's like kind of a curly-haired woman.
He thought I would look better if I dressed a certain way. Again, I took the bait. I just felt worse.
Her twat smelled like bait. That's what took the bait.
Wow, yeah.
There's a drop.
Yeah. When it came around to telling me how my vagina could be better, it finally clicked that this is a form of control that men often use.
No. I've dated women before. Even the one I threw the mattress out, I didn't tell her that her twat stunk.
Yeah. Not only that, it's like, who lays awake and like, you know how I can control her? I can tell her that she has a
that'll
stinky
work.
clam.
Yeah, that'll work.
It was all part of the master plot.
Yeah,
right.
That'll keep her around the house.
Like, she would call after this and say, "Hey, can I come over and all? I'm busy. I can't." I didn't say to her, "Hey, guess what? I don't think this is going to work out because I had to throw my mattress out because your
you cost me $500.
Right. And I spent that gladly to get that smell out of my house.
I bet you did. Was it
man.
wet?
Jesus.
What the hell happened? Did she shit herself in your bed?
Shit the bed?
What was going on?
Yeah, I think there was some discharge, to be quite honest with you.
Oh.
I know. It was horrible.
Christ.
Trust me. You know how bad my memory is? That's burnt into my mind.
Yeah. Like
Did she work at that strip club that was serving up the bad shrimp that time?
No.
Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't even thought about that in 30 years or something like that. But anyhow.
But it came back with this story.
Right. Fortunately, I am appropriately confident vagina expert, and I've had a light bulb moment and dumped his sorry ass. I realize this may border on too much information, but honestly, if it happened to me, I bet it could happen to other women. How do you broach that subject?
Yeah, well, there was a customer in my store that she used to come in and she kind of stunk. And the girls that worked
How did you know that?
Because you could smell her.
From
through clothing,
Through clothes. Wow, holy mackerel!
And how do you know that's what stunk? Maybe it was armpit.
Because the girls that worked with me were like saying, "Man," he says, "You might want to she might want to try douching." So,
really?
Oh yeah, it was pretty.
I mean, how do you broach that? I mean, that's
I didn't tell her.
No, I understand it, but I'm thinking about this.
Excuse me, miss.
As you're handing me your money, I'm going to try to control you by telling you.
But I mean, how does the guy, like this poor guy? I feel worse for the guy.
She did him a favor,
right? But is she with anybody else now?
Oh, who cares? Hopefully, he's with someone that has a twat that smells like potpourri and apples. So,
yeah, right. Apples and cinnamon, like the fucking Airwick.
Brown sugar.
Right? Those little Airwick things you plug into the wall. One of them things.
I guess.
She might have helped him out.
Yeah, but you know what this looks like it's turning into? You should be proud of who you are. Like, like when
like the don't shave your arm hair movement.
Right. Yeah. Or whenever Oprah gains weight, you should be proud about being heavy and all that because it's healthy. That's who you are. And we set an unrealistic beauty standard. But then when she loses weight, it's healthier. You're not going. It's better not to be obese and all that.
Right.
Whatever Oprah is, that's what you're supposed to be. And I think that's what this is going to turn in. If you smell, you should be proud that you smell.
Ugh.
I don't know. There's usually a smell for some reason. Like when food goes bad, it smells, so things come over and eat it.
Right.
Or not eat it.
Flies, and so it can decompose.
Yeah.
Or it smells so things don't eat it and die.
Same thing with taste. If something tastes sour and all that, it was really, when you throw this out, this milk's been around the fridge.
Although, I guess some women have
I don't know.
I heard a story once.
About a man named Jed?
No. It was a woman, she was on birth control pills. And what happened?
They'll whack you out. I've heard that.
And she was dating this guy, and they were engaged. And they were engaged to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And she was having issues. They took her off the birth control pills. But when she came off the birth control pills, he ended up having a funny odor. Now, not just his...
He did?
Yeah, to her, he had a funny odor. Like, she never smelled this when she was on the birth control pills. Mm-hmm. But once she was off the birth control pills, he had like a odor that was offensive to her.
Yeah, well,
to the point
the pills were masking his odor, or
her response, or whatever.
She couldn't
to
smell.
the point where they ended up breaking up, calling off the marriage. But if she was still on birth control, everything would have been fine. So maybe some people are drawn together by
well, not only that, but I think there's certain smells that some people like because where I used to work, there was a woman around, and a woman would walk by, and some women, they wear that perfume that to me, that sometimes it just smells abhorrent. I mean, it's like, oh man, what was that?
I never liked musk.
And then my friend's like, oh man, I like this. I like that. Oh, that smells horrible. It smells like pine trees or something,
Right.
Oh, I think that's great. Now, I also read that women, and I don't know how true this is because it seems counterintuitive to me, they like it when a man smells like gasoline.
Really?
I read this. Yeah, women like that.
I've never heard that.
I don't know how they made where they got the control test and where they got all the factors that
lit them on fire. Yeah, how's this smell?
They said they like it when a man smells like gasoline. Paint was another one.
I never liked when back in the late 70s, early 80s when musk, as a cologne,
musk for women,
and for men. I never liked that smell at all.
Worst
I think it smells pretty good.
Ugh.
The worst cologne that I've ever smelled is Polo. And some people swear by it, but as soon as someone walks in with Polo, it smells like mothballs and old people to me.
Yeah.
So I guess it's, however whatever.
Right. I think certain people smell
like a certain thing. But I can't get over it. Okay, so a woman has problems in that area. She notices some kind of odor. Mm-hmm. All right. And she's like, okay, why Vicks Vapor Rub?
No, I don't get.
Because from what I understand, Vicks Vapor Rub is it burns.
Yeah.
And in that area, it would burn more.
I would think maybe wax it with a Yankee Candle or something like that. One of those fragrance ones,
Is that what you would do?
Not me, no, but I would think that's what they would. That's what I think.
If you were a woman, you would just.
I would think that's what women might want to try. Something like
I don't know. That's got to be a horrible thing to have.
Might be something in this there.
But this woman here,
physiological,
the vagina expert here, the gynecologist.
Yeah, he's one of those cunt doctors.
Right. You notice that, she's not doing anything. So any poor guy, I'd love to know if she's married or she's in a relationship.
Are you sure this isn't like one of those fake articles?
It's coming from The Sun.
Nah, then it's legit.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
they kind of obsess about that.
I don't know.
Actually, if it weren't for that goofy hairstyle,
I don't think
she's
that's
kinda
really
cute.
her.
Oh, it is.
Is it?
Oh, yeah, because I looked her up I did a little research. I looked her up on Twitter, and that's her.
That Ronald McDonald hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, for
that's
the-
a wig.
Red and
Yeah,
yellow?
if it weren't for the hair, she'd actually be pretty cute, I think.
Yeah, she's an attractive girl.
If you like a stinky twat.
I don't think I could get by that.
Well, he could put a clothespin on his nose and really offend the shit out of her when we're doing the act.
Get on with a gas mask.
Maybe
Like
the
the
thing
Jimmy.
for him is like he should take the Vicks Vapor Rub and put it under his nose. You know how like when
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
go
Just
in the
breathe
house,
right nasal strips,
Yeah.
but just like.
they just put it under the, like when like a body dies and it's been decomposed.
Maybe
for a
she
while.
can't smell herself.
Well, I don't think she can.
No.
That could be the issue.
Most people who do smell can't smell themselves.
Yeah, they go nose blind, like those Febreze commercials.
Right, exactly.
I see we have another hot teacher having sex thing. A former substitute teacher and soccer coach is accused of sexually assaulting a male student when she was a teacher at a Michigan high school. Allison B. Moran was arrested Thursday in Illinois and taken to the Macon County Jail. Investigators said the 26-year-old former educator lives in Illinois now. On Monday, she was extradited to the Ingham County Jail in Michigan and charged with 3 felony counts of third-degree criminal sexual conduct involving a student and a misdemeanor charge of fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct involving a student.
Here we go again. We have a male student that's under the age of 18 and a female teacher that's in her early 20s, mid 20s, because we don't know how long ago this has been.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the victim comes forward. Why? Number one. And then if you read the student's account, it's like, okay, we had sex, and then I went back to the house again so we could have sex again. Is that sexual assault? Is it really?
Well, if he's
I mean,
a-
Yeah,
they're a
if he's
minor.
a minor, yes, it is.
I understand the minor part of it.
That's
But is
why.
it really sexual assault if he keeps going back? Right?
If it was a girl, and it would still be
That's
considered
why I say
sexual
there's. That's
assault.
why I say there's a different standard for men, for
Yeah, well, we
boys
gotta-
and girls.
we
Because
can't-
girls would not do that.
Well, go
Girls will not
back?
come.
Oh,
girls will not
there's-
go back.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
been cases
girls that,
of that.
there's girls that would go back to the,
I don't know.
the
I just-
sugar daddy thing. You know?
Yeah, I understand it's wrong and all this, but I mean, there should be some kind of different charge. Okay, I'm going to rescind my previous position that she should get Teacher of the Year. She should
No,
get it.
Finally, yeah.
Okay, but I don't think she should be hit with sexual assault.
Well, if you say that, then
No, it's different for. I'm going to say there's going to
Well,
be a
what would you
boys'
define
rule.
it if not assault? Assault is unwanted contact.
It was not unwanted. He went back several times. I think the reason that he's telling on her now is because he's pissed that she moved to Illinois and he's not tapping that anymore.
Ooh, I'm going to tell on you.
Yeah, either you get back here and we continue with this, or I'm
I think
telling.
the definition of assault is not only unwanted contact, but if you make contact with someone that's not of legal age,
yeah,
that's assault.
it's a transgression.
Because
I-
you should see the jury case I just almost sat in on.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that this kid, he didn't have any problem when he was that deep in her, but now all of a sudden it's over, and now he's got a big mouth.
He could come forward years later. Then what would
Yeah.
you say?
Well, I think there's a statute of limitations. I don't know.
But,
Well, yeah,
but
sure.
he still could come forward to
Yeah, I
years
guess
later.
so.
And it depends on state law.
All right, but he was fine with it for the time that this was all going. It's not like she's forced himself on her. He ran home. It never happened again, and now all of a sudden he's coming out with it.
Right. Because I dodged a bullet on jury duty. It was
I
it was
was
a,
going to say no.
Yeah, I thought it was where's
that
this
was-
going?
it was a criminal case.
Yes.
And it was basically a sex crime, and it went back to it was from 2008,
Okay.
and this is going to court now, almost 10 years later.
And it was a guy.
A guy and a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, but it's 10 years later, and it's coming to the fore. So
Right.
I think it's kind of like it, with a murder case. I mean, there's no real
I
statute of
understand that.
limitation on it. So what I'm saying is, this is relatively recent, we think, but
Mm-hmm.
this kid could have came forward years later and pushed these charges.
Right. But I just see these teachers, this whole thing with this female, and again, it's almost like female teachers.
Because they're getting away with it.
They're getting away with
They
in
it.
the
are
court
getting
of law.
away.
That's
they're doing
why.
it. Why?
If they should have slapped down on that weird chick from Alaska that started this whole shit 15, 20 years ago, and that would have nipped it in the bud.
Nip
like
it
Don Knotts would
in the
say.
bud.
You got to nip it, Barney. Nip it in the bud.
Where's my phone at? I have that on my phone. I was using that today on a different podcast.
Wow, aren't we in simpatico today?
Yes, we are. I lost my phone.
He's still looking for it. He's like,
I don't know where my phone went. I had it here. I don't know where it went. Anyhow, it doesn't matter.
You could drop it in later on.
Okay, well, let me see the.
Yeah, they wound up discharging all of us.
Really?
Yeah, I almost was like, oh, fuck.
Discharged us. They discharged us.
And she's a nice looking woman. I mean,
yeah, she's not bad.
They always are. They don't. They never show like Helga the Horrible.
There's been a couple.
Yeah, there's a couple. Hey, there's a website that some guy said, hey, let me put a website together of all these teachers having sex with kids, and it has their mugshot and all that, and some of them are pretty horrific, you know?
Right.
There was one I was reading about last week where the teacher was gay, and she was rounding up. She was starting to create, like, she was going after, like, some of the female students.
Right.
And got caught, okay? Now, what do you say about that?
It's a slippery slope. I don't know how I feel about that, to be quite honest with you. But I know one thing.
Would that be an assault, though?
I don't know.
I say this calls for action, and now, nip it in the bud.
That's exactly what we need to do.
Well, yeah, that's if they did it with that goofy chick from Alaska.
Which is the goofy chick from Alaska?
She was the one that started all this shit. She was a teacher, and she had this Filipino or something student. Because now you see their pictures all day, and she looks deranged. She looks like that runaway bride from a few with the big giant roly eyes. You know, remember that story?
Yeah, I remember her.
Well, she wound up having the kid was 13, and she was in her 20s. She was married and she had kids, and she did time.
Right,
and then they let her out, and she immediately like ran to that kid back, and then she was caught in the back seat.
Yeah,
doing the horizontal lambada. And she got knocked up by the kid. She wound up having the kid. Yeah,
oh, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah.
Well, she was the first one.
That was the very first one I remember. And
she went to jail, came out,
and married,
was paroled,
and got married.
And no, she wasn't.
She was supposed to have no contact with him,
and then violated. Yeah,
she violated parole.
Got pregnant again.
Right.
Yeah.
But then after she finally got out of jail, free and clear.
She married him.
Well, the kid turned 18. And
right.
Like,
they got married. Well, guess what? Just recently,
they got divorced. Right.
Because now,
did he find an older teacher?
I think at this point he's looking for a younger teacher.
Right. Exactly. Woman caught giving man oral sex on Delta flight.
And I flew United.
Really?
Diane didn't help you out?
Oh, yeah, like that's going to happen on the plane. Yeah, it's going to happen.
You want to read this?
Where is it? I'm trying to find it.
It's the one with the big giant plane.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. There it is.
Else I can tell.
Okay.
Where's it at?
Okay. We can go into that.
Who's reading it?
I don't care. Just not me.
I can give it a shot if I can dig it up.
I got it.
You still can't find it?
A pair of Delta passengers are facing criminal charges after allegedly being caught having oral sex mid-flight. The female passenger, 48, was allegedly caught performing the sex act. I like how they use the word perform.
Yeah, and
it's like rings of fire. Just like, what's going on? Performing.
If it's done right, it is a performance.
Juggling torches.
Yeah. The sex act on a man 20 years her junior as they remained in their seats on the flight from Los Angeles to Detroit on Sunday. Airport police say both were connecting in Detroit to other flights, and the pair only met on board the aircraft. The pair were on a Delta flight from Los Angeles to Detroit on Sunday when a woman, 48, was allegedly caught giving the man oral sex.
Okay, so they're on a flight. They just meet on the plane. This guy's got game. I mean, how does he talk a woman?
Wow, he must be gifted.
Gifted.
You know what I mean?
Know what I mean, Turd?
All right, let's unpack that for a second. All right,
just like he did.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Let's unpack that. Okay, so now you're a woman.
Mm-hmm.
How big of a member do you want heading for your tonsils?
Well,
are you really into size?
Well, if you're a guy, you can say the same thing about boobs.
No, it's a different story.
Why?
It's not entering.
Yeah, but how big is enough?
There's no such thing.
But
go ahead. I understand what you're saying. But no, but women don't think like that. See, we're thinking.
You think they don't?
I know they don't. I know enough women, and it's not all about the size.
You think they don't about things like that.
You're right. On a scale, there are some size queens. I'm into fitness. Fitting this into my mouth. Okay, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but there are other ones that are not. I mean, this guy had real game to actually talk this woman into doing this.
He was a talker.
He's a younger guy too, so he's got that thing going on.
And then where's the cutoff age where you go, you know something? I'm not doing this here. Like, what's the cutoff age? Like 20, I figured 28 was too old. Like, this is something you would think a 21-year-old, 23-year-old
just
would
reverse it. You're a 48-year-old dude, and some 28-year-old chick wants to, like, get it on with you. That's the same thing.
I don't think it's the same thing.
It is the same thing, because now she can brag to her friends that she had a younger man.
Now, in that case, wait a minute. How old did you say
An older
the guy
man.
was? An older man.
No, in this case,
Right.
she
But
can brag.
You flipped the script.
Exactly.
Oh,
She can now go out to her friends and say, yeah, I was on a flight. I'm 48, and I got some dude that was 28.
Do you think that women go to, like, they go for coffee and they say, you know what I
Yeah.
did?
Oh, yes, they
Yes,
do.
they do.
Oh,
You got to
tell you
get out
something.
more.
Let me tell you something.
Well, I'm always hanging around mostly dudes. I don't get into a gaggle of women.
Yeah,
and hear
that's
what
exactly why.
Although, to be honest with you, I probably hang around with more women talking to women now because of the podcasting.
Yeah, ask them.
Let me say this off.
Actually, there's one in the room right now. She's still in there that I record with. Would be able to answer this question.
Yeah. Women are not the saints that you think they are. I work with a bunch of them.
Hey, when I worked at Metro, some of the filthiest things I ever heard spoken came from the mouths of women. I mean, it's whoa.
I find that hard to believe.
Well, yeah, if you round the corner in a room where discussions happen that we don't talk about here on this podcast, and they don't know that you're approaching, I've heard a lot of filthy things. And then you walk in and they're a little ashamed and red-faced.
Yeah, a few things comes to my mind when looking at this story. How big is too big? That's the question I'm asking. I see someone in the chat that asked the question, so I got to ask the person in the chat because I don't want to out them in the chat.
No, they're lurkers.
Well, what happens is they were lurking and then they made the mistake of engaging.
Okay.
So now I'm going to ask the question: how big is too big? Let's wait for that answer.
72
All right. So now
feet.
what I'm saying is, here's what I'm thinking. All right. So that happens on the plane.
Mm-hmm. Well, after landing in Detroit, they were met by airport police.
Hang on, I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah, I'm just finishing it off. And
okay, so then we can talk.
They got locked up. So
what? Oh, they got locked up.
Yeah, they got locked up. So go ahead. Now go on with your.
Okay, so now that happens. Spitter or swallower, you think?
I would think on a plane.
I would think she'd have to swallow.
Yeah, get rid of the evidence, I would think. Get rid of it.
Oh, here we go. Depends on the receptacle. I was waiting, again, with women, you can never get a straight answer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's everything's, it depends. It depends on this. Yeah. It depends on that. Oh, so I don't know.
Spock said that, didn't he? I never understood the female capacity to avoid a direct answer to any question.
Mm-hmm. I guess. All right. So you're on the plane and you're this guy and you sit down and there's a nicer looking older woman next to you. Mm-hmm. I mean, 28 to, how old was she? 48? 28. It's 20 years.
Well, it said 20 years, her junior, so we're assuming 28.
Okay, so 28 years old. Mm-hmm. She's 48. Mm-hmm. And they're talking, getting along,
Could
smiling.
be her son, but that's different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But guys do that all the time. The older guy, younger girl thing.
How do you make that move?
Well, a lot of times you pick up
So, would you like to...
wait a minute. So.
All
right, so now you get the blanket. Right, you try to. Does she go down under the blanket? I mean, do you have to?
I would think the service tray would come down.
The service, keep your service tray in the.
No, that thing will slap around.
You bang in the back of her head.
Yeah,
he's probably and just for good effect, he has his meal up there. It's getting jostled around. Oh,
there's no turbulence going on.
Right,
some turbulence in these nuts.
So they land the plane. I guess you got to call in. Imagine the tower. Tower, can you have police meet us at the gate?
Yeah, that's.
Why, is there a problem? Well, some old broad was giving this kid head on seat 14A and 14B, and we want to have him arrested.
No, you say old broad. It makes it sound like they're like 80-year-old woman.
Yeah, right.
I mean, she didn't have to pop
old
out.
Broad, she's younger than me. Yeah, she's younger than me.
She didn't have to pop out any teeth. Well, to him.
Yeah, to him. Yeah.
We have a cougar on board. Mm-hmm. Oh my God! Do you need animal control? No, just a napkin.
Yeah, probably, what happens is you pick up that vibe. You never latched up like in a bar or something?
Yeah, you just know it's going to happen.
Not in a bar. No.
Oh, not necessarily in a bar, a club, a bar,
nothing.
At dinner, something like you just pick the vibe up that you're
never
not going to be masturbating by yourself.
No, I'm just saying. Will you let me answer a question before you get to masturbation? What the fuck?
God. You know what I'm saying about the vibe.
I don't know. I mean, Jesus Christ over here with you with the masturbation.
Yeah, well,
No, I don't. All right, so what I'm saying is I've talked women out of a place, out of a venue, into a vehicle.
Well, right. It happened then.
Right. but not in the venue.
But
like
they
the
were
bathroom stall.
The story said they were getting on separate flights.
Oh, so they were leaving?
They just met for the first time,
Right.
and on the plane. When it landed in Detroit, she was getting on a different flight. He was getting on a different flight, or getting off. They weren't going to see each other.
They were getting off.
They weren't going to see each other anymore once the plane landed.
Right.
So it was like, it's now or never. You know.
I guess. I don't know. I just can't see a woman doing that in that short a time. Usually it takes a little.
Because you're laboring under the delusion that every woman in the world is your mom. You know,
No,
and we never imagine our moms doing that stuff.
That'll be a story for a little later on. All right. So my thought here is that how good looking of a guy does this guy got to be to be able to get a girl to go down on him?
He might have just
in a
been
2-hour
charming.
flight?
Yeah, man,
It's pretty fucking charming.
He probably a good
Listen,
talker, man.
I'm really fucking charming. I don't think I could talk a woman on a 2-hour flight.
Oh, you have to see.
no,
Do they have
man.
any photos of them?
No photos. That's unusual.
Because he might have been like some dude in like
I could
a
see,
suit or something, like a businessman.
or you could see him. He's got a big smile on his face. She's wiping her chin.
Yeah, she's got pancake batter across her face.
What happened? I don't. Yeah. So yes.
Suddenly the flight turns into a Bukkake film. It's like, wow.
It goes right to the extreme. Don't it?
They're all standing up.
Well, I mean, I'm not by no means a woman expert, but from what I hear from women, a guy who knows how to talk it up to them is like a woman with really nice boobs.
Yeah, they like that confidence.
They like that. You know, that's like a turn on to them.
I got you.
Especially if he has an English accent. Then the guy's like in like Flint.
Yeah, an English accent. They just basically take their panties off and throw them at the guy.
Pretty much.
The panties fall off by themselves.
That's
what are you
right.
saying?
Now, what do you think's a sexy accent for a woman? I always think a Russian accent for a woman is.
Really?
I think that's hot. I love that.
I like an English accent on a woman.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
A lot of guys like a French accent on a woman. And
the accent that I like a Southern accent. I think a Southern accent
I like
is
that
a very sexy accent.
I do like that.
All right. And then an English accent.
Hey, John. Okay.
So, anyhow.
No, I always like the Russian accent on a woman. I think that's very hot.
Right. See, yeah, that doesn't do anything for me.
Now
Any
you got
kind of
Natasha.
Eastern European accent really doesn't do anything for me. But what I'm saying is that accent, which you find so sexy, that if you're around it for a while, will drive you. It'll be like nails on a chalkboard.
It goes away after a while.
Right.
It's the same.
It goes away.
Yeah. It's like anything else. We start to tune it out.
Yeah, I left this paper in the sun. The print went away.
And it's not just the accent. It's the talking in general. I mean, I think biologically, guys are not designed to just hear talking. We only do like 2,500 words a day. Man.
Right.
Versus women, I think they're up to around
28,000.
Yeah, like 4 times that.
20.
Right.
So basically, by the time a guy comes home from work, he's done talking. He don't, which is why,
that's true. Yeah, I used to get home
and
from
she's
work.
just getting warmed up.
Yeah, she hasn't had anyone to talk to all day.
Right.
You just want to come home and stare at a wall, and she wants to sit there and talk to you.
Right. Which is why when you're sitting there
fucking torture.
glazing at the TV,
Well, now Diane
that's when
knows.
she wants to fucking talk.
Now Diane knows, because when I drive home from work, it's like an hour drive, and it's like I'm running it. I've driven. I got to go to the bathroom, and she went to play 20 questions. Like, yo, Chatty Cathy, I got to take a piss. Move out of the way, Well, you don't have to be like that, Just
Right. Well, how am I supposed to be?
yeah, well, I said, well, you want me to stand here and piss on the floor while you're talking to me? I got to go to the bathroom. Move.
Could you see walking in when she starts like, so how was your day? You know what happened to me today? And you sit there and you just unzip your fly. You start peeing on, hey, what do you, get in the bathroom.
You're piss in a mayonnaise jar.
I picture him coming in the front door like the Kool-Aid man.
That's pretty much how I come home sometimes, because, especially now with the holiday season coming on, that area that I got to drive through, that adds about a half an hour to my trip coming home.
Really?
I mean, I like Christmas, but I loathe coming home during the Christmas season.
I hate the
because
Christmas
of that.
season traffic.
Just, it's crazy. It adds an extra half an hour to my trip home.
Wow. All right, let's do a tangent. You want to do a tangent?
Sure.
Why not?
All right. I want to give you, since we broached the whole parents, sex, mother, thinking of your mother thing, I'm going to do a would you rather quiz. Now, you're not going to be able to see the questions.
Mm-hmm.
This will be just me doing it. So then I just want to hear what your reaction, because I don't want you guys thinking about it. I just want to hear your gut reaction when I do this.
Now, are you quizzing both of us? Or?
Yeah, both of this.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Number 1. Would you rather eat a bowl of vomit or lick a homo's foot? You got to do one. Not a homo, a hobo.
A hobo.
I was going to say.
A hobo's foot.
I'll take the hobo's foot.
Over eating a bowl of vomit?
Yeah.
Okay. Joe?
Yeah, I think, well, if I had a choice, yeah, I'd have to do the hobo.
Because I'd have to eat 2 bowls of vomit because once I got over it, I'd be throwing
vomit
up
again.
right
I have to
into
eat all the
it, so-
vomit from that, too.
All right, here you go. This
that
one.
movie's not playing on my VCR.
All right, now, first of all, because of the situation, we can't do it in real time like this time. We got to go back to a 21-year-old Deuce and a 20-year-old Joe.
Well, we're both the same age now, so couldn't we both be 21?
Yeah.
You're brothers and you're not twins, so you know you can't be the same age.
We are the same age right now.
I understand that because of but in a month or two.
No, we're already the same age. Joe caught up.
I caught up to him. Okay, ask the question for Christ's
What
sake.
the fuck? So when you're 20 years old, if you're the same age, I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
All right. Here's the question. Would you rather watch your parents have sex every day for the rest of your life or join in once to stop it?
What?
That's the question. You got to pick one.
Who wrote this? Did you write this down?
I did not write this down. There's a question right here. Would you rather watch your parents have sex every day for the rest of your life or join in once to stop it?
Well, I'm not joining in.
I'm not joining
watching.
in on that. You know?
So you're saying that you have to pick one.
No, I don't. This is America. I can do whatever the hell I want.
I can pretend I'm watching.
Oh, you can pretend you're watching?
Yeah.
When I saw that question, I couldn't wait to ask you to.
So what did you choose?
That's a horrible
You join in,
question.
wouldn't you? Because you're spanking off to that one-armed girl.
No, I am not.
That music starts.
No.
The
All right.
one-armed girl, like she's in The Fugitive or something. It's like, who made this mess? It was the one-armed girl.
All right, here we go. Let me see if this is the right one. Would you rather have vaginas for ears or have penises for fingers?
Oh, I'd have to go with the penises for fingers. Come on.
Yeah, I think.
But then you see the one-armed girl, and the next thing you know, you drop your phone.
Oh, man.
You can't make a
right.
fist.
Yeah. Well,
I would still think you could use a keyboard.
Help me.
nah, come on, I'd have to go with the penises.
Edward Scrotum hands.
Yeah, Edward Penis
Dick
hands.
fingers.
I think that was actually an old porn movie.
Yeah,
back
it was.
in the day.
I'm thinking now that I think about it. Yeah, Edward
Back then when they
Penis
had clever titles like when the little sperm maid, that was like back when Disney came out with that movie. Gee, I wonder what this is about. I'm in it for the cultural enrichment.
Yeah, well, they all basically had the same plot.
Yeah, fucking. Yeah.
Right. Okay, here we go. Would you rather have sex with a goat and no one would know, or not have sex with a goat, but everybody think you did?
I'd rather go with the latter.
You'd rather not have sex with a goat?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I do have sex with the goat, I'll know that I did, and that'll bother the shit out of me.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to go with the same deal. I can do because I don't give a fuck what people think anyway.
Okay. I don't get fucked by
Well,
goats.
not sure.
I fuck goats and don't take a gerbil up my ass.
Right.
Please get it right. That's right. Here
Are
we
we
go.
going to start that shit again?
All right. Here's one for you. Okay. Would you rather pry your thumbnail off with a fork or put a toothpick under your big toenail and kick a wall?
I'll pry it off.
Yeah, I think I'd pry it off.
Really?
Yeah.
Either one of them's like, my toes are already curling in my shoes. They're just, oh my God.
Yeah, but if you get a toothpick on, they'll come right off.
And you can't get the toothpick out either, right?
Plus,
Yeah.
that's a good way to get an
Yeah,
infection.
did you ever get a splinter under your thumbnail?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Deal.
All right, so I'm going to go back to this. So watch your parents have sex every day for the rest of your life or join in once to stop it. Nothing? Not picking?
Like he said, you can pretend that you're
Yeah,
watching.
I do the watching thing, but I don't.
Every
pretend I
day
was
you got to
watching.
pretend, but you
Sure.
can't. But then you hear. You would hear them.
I'm sure a lot of guys pretend they're listening to their wives, but come on.
That's true. Okay. All right. There you go. A little would you rather quiz.
Mm-hmm. Some sexual deviant wrote them up.
Yeah, some sick motherfucker did that.
I just wanted to see what you, and it was funny because you both looked at each other like, what? What would we do?
Boy.
Like the bizarre.
I think that if Jerry and Dave from the Bad Cop show, I think that, they went down to Dallas a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if they'd known where this place was, that they would have went there. Restaurant uses pre- and post-transitional Caitlyn Jenner photos as bathroom signs.
Yeah, that's pretty clever.
That is pretty good. I like that.
An editor in Dallas shared a disturbing photo Monday of a transphobic bathroom sign currently used at a local restaurant. Dallas Morning News editor Dom DeFurio posted an image of bathroom doors at Doty's Place Cajun Bar and Grill. The doors were decorated with photos of transgender celebrity Caitlyn Jenner pre- and post-transition to indicate the men's and the women's room, respectively. The women's room featured the Vanity Fair cover of Jenner, and the men's room had the image of Jenner when he won the gold Olympic for the decathlon in the 1976 Montreal Games. According to the restaurant's Facebook account, the photos of Jenner have been in use since at least August. DeFurio told the Daily Dot that the restaurant isn't seated in a progressive area and that he wouldn't consider it particularly great place for the LGBTQ
RSTUVW
community.
Shit, I'm sick of this shit.
Using Jenner's photographs in this way trivializes the internal struggle and gender dysphoria many transgender individuals face.
Who said this? One of the
I guess this is the guy writing the article.
Oh.
Being transgender does not mean that someone will simply one gender and now another. Their emotional, physiological, physical,
psychological, and physical.
Thank you. You might as well just take over.
Are far more complex than these bathroom doors could ever reflect. What's more, hate against the transgender community remains deep and widespread, so much so that one study found that transgender adults are 14 times more likely to think about suicide and 22 times more likely to attempt suicide than the general public, according to the United Press International.
Now, to me, that suggests that it's causal.
Let me ask you a question. How is that hate?
There's
Caitlyn Jenner as a woman.
Yeah.
There's Caitlyn Jenner as a man.
Because at the same time, they're asking us to accept the new Jenner
as a woman.
So shit or get off the pot, which is going to be.
Right. You can't have it both ways.
Right. They're trying to.
Exactly.
They're trying to have their cake and eat it too. Bastards.
Oh, I finally got a definition of what cisgender actually means now. So now it's when you identify with the gender that you were assigned at birth.
So you're normal?
Yeah. Basically,
if you were a boy and they assigned you a boy, you identify with being a boy, you're normal.
Right. First of all, who does the assigning? That's the thing that bugs me about this. Wait, you were assigned your gender. No, I was born male. No one assigned it to me. No one gave me they gave me.
So he came out like a Barbie doll with like a smooth genitals, and they stuck a cock and balls on there.
To me, this is a whole big psychological friggin' whammy. They're trying to throw one and they're making it sound like you really don't know what you are. It's just that you were assigned this and you accept. I just don't like the whole thing. It's too fucking weird to me. It's more like mind control.
I'll tell you what. Okay, let me try to unpack this. There are some situations where I can almost see it. Remember, we did a story where it was a transgender. He was a guy, and he was a woman. He was basically trans into a woman, and he was doing runway modeling in New York. Like he was a runway model.
Yeah.
And you really couldn't tell. I said you couldn't tell.
Well, with that picture you had up, it was kind of quick. Then I saw other pictures.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was quite obvious.
So you were looking at other pictures?
Well, yeah, because you pulled it. Because I need
the ones that I put up there.
You get his press shot.
You put a headshot up.
Yeah, his press shot's going to be photoshopped to the balls and
but
make
then
it look more like
I actually saw pictures of him on like the runway.
Yes.
Because I dug into it, and you know that.
And did you go just jerk off?
Yes.
Sausage time.
Yeah. So
no, he was like a gangly dude in a dress. It was just like.
All right, but see, here's the thing. Where do you think that guy is going to be more accepted? Now, that guy is going to look like that, whether he's a guy or a woman. His physical features, long, gangly, skinny.
Yeah.
pasty.
Where do you think he's going to be more accepted and have a better life?
England.
As a guy or as a woman? Because to be honest with you, he has more feminine features than he has masculine features.
Well, it's probably because he's gay and he's probably doing what he can to keep the weight off so that he can pose as a woman.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying that.
Probably a vegan, you know.
Yeah.
Well, they always
they all
do.
a little pale.
It all seems to come with the territory. I mean, it all, but if you say it does, well, you're stereotyping, and that's bad.
Right.
I work with 2 vegans, and I assure you, they are not, runway models, but they are very pasty.
Well, yeah.
I mean, and look at me. I'm like, the sun is my enemy. I burst into flames.
Yes.
I look like George Hamilton compared to next to these guys.
That's true.
It's like.
I hear you. But I'm just saying, though, I could see where some of these women, these guys that, when they trans into a woman, they get more accepted. They have.
Yeah, but then you think it's also because a lot of the people in that community or in those occupations are of that community.
God, you want me to try to figure this out? I have no idea. But I'm just saying that.
I mean, that aspect makes more sense of it. Because, there's a famous chain around here that's chock full of lesbians and gays,
Really?
And, oh, yeah.
What?
The Flying Goose chain. Wawa.
They're full of gays?
Oh, yeah. They're
and a management body? Yeah.
The upper management? Yeah, they're
management.
packed with them, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Oh, well, I knew because I used to call on them as a sales representative.
And then did you go jerk off?
No.
Okay. You want to go in?
It's not as funny when you do it.
I know. I don't know why. I have no idea why.
So I walked in. Hi, I'm from Newport Cigarettes. Hello there. Oh, I have to go jerk off.
Excuse me, do you have a bathroom?
And some tissues.
I'll be right back.
Lots of napkins. Okay.
All right.
Hurry up in there.
I'm coming as fast as I can.
What are you doing? Going blind.
Man high on drug has sex with electric fence, burns genitals.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
Yeah, that'll happen.
A rave party turned terribly wrong for a young Arizona man highly intoxicated on ecstasy after he ended up having sexual intercourse with an electric fence and sustaining third-degree burns to his lower abdomen and genitals. Adam Weinberg, 26, was rescued by fellow partygoers of the illegal setup rave after they noticed that he was in horrible agony and unable to unclamp himself from the electrified fence surrounding the area. The young man, who was highly intoxicated on several drugs, including ecstasy, apparently mistook the electric fence for a sexual partner.
For a stinky
for a woman?
For a stinky clam. Before feeling the burst of 220-volt and 13 amps.
13 amps.
Now, 10 amps will kill you. 10 amps will kill you. How this guy did this, I have no idea. Well, he tells you.
I was high as fuck. I'd taken some GHB and some DMT to start out the party. I then did a shitload of ecstasy and a bunch of amphetamines before taking a few hits of cocaine. This guy was fucking loaded, man.
Right.
Then someone poured some acid drops into my eyes. And
holy shit.
Is this a real story?
Yes.
Is this a real
Yes.
Yeah, this is fucked. I don't know. This sounds like...
There's a picture of him in the
He looks
hospital.
kind of proud, though. That's
right.
Where did you get this story from?
Well, he goes on to say, I got really horny and wandered off in the desert, because that's what horny guys do, I guess.
Wander off into the desert.
And I saw all these hot naked chicks dancing around, but later I figured out they were just wooden fence poles. Yeah, this has got to be a joke, John.
Oh, the guy took he took an alphabet of drugs: GHB, DMT, EIEIO.
Is this World News Report? Did you get this?
Oh my
from?
God! For Christ's sake, you guys!
Indigenous Club. I don't know.
Where did I get this from? Hang on.
Indigenous Club.
It strains the bounds of credulity.
It's from It's from Native Americans. Is where this is from.
Okay. Well, he goes on to say,
okay, you guys, I got to look this up now.
At first, the electricity passing through me was like the biggest orgasm I ever had. I felt like my balls were going to explode, and that's when I felt the horrible burning sensation and the smell of burning flesh. He remembers before passing out. Adam Weinberg says he hopes the story will reach other young adults and prevent injuries or even death. I don't think he has to work too hard on that.
Wait, I love the next line. I realize now that I am a drug addict and I could have died in the most stupidest way ever. What, from all the drugs or humping an electric fence?
Yeah.
I don't know which is worse. We should have that as a Twitter poll.
Some of my friends say I shouldn't publicly talk about trying to have sex with an electric fence while high on ecstasy and that I will look like a fool.
That's true.
He admitted. But if my testimony can help just one person not to do the same thing I did, it will be worth the shame and ridicule that this news coverage will bring upon. Not to mention the fame and 15 minutes, and maybe some spot on some TMZ. Honor Health Medical Center spokesman John Seymour admits that the hospital has noted an increase in recreative drug-related health problems in recent years, but has never heard of such a case before. And he probably never will again.
Jesus.
That's a fucked up dude. Look at this dude. He's a weirdo. What do you make of him? He looks like an Indian.
Yeah, I don't really... Look, Deuce is over there fact-checking me.
I can't...
Deuce can't wait to find out that this isn't a real story.
No, it's not that I can't wait. It's just that it just sounds like there's so much packed into there. It's kind of hard to believe. Don't you find it kind of hard to believe?
I don't know. The guy was on so much stuff that,
to me, I think we're being...
He was hallucinating. I think what happens when they put the acid drops in your eyes, I think he lost his shit. And he just started hallucinating. And the next thing you know...
I don't know.
It was like...
Wait a minute. There's another story in here.
I can't do shit without a mouse.
There's another story here that I think might kind of shed light on what we're reading here. Russian scientist claims bees are dying because they are turning gay.
What?
Gay bees?
Gay bees?
That's in the same magazine?
So now it's a hive full of queens, I guess.
I know.
Hello, Frisco.
How does a bee turn gay? I mean, they're all drones. They can't have sex anyway.
Female.
Yeah, they're all female.
No, the drones, they're all female.
Oh, so it's a lesbian hive.
Yeah.
Woo.
And when things go bad for the hive, well, I know you know this, the worker bees that are all female stop feeding the drones and then they just die. Like, well, we don't need you here.
Right. Exactly.
It's like being voted off the island.
Now the rap that everybody hates. Hush Your Face is coming straight to your ears. A podcast network that's changing gears, bringing fresh funky pods with a fresh funky beat. A family of pods that are bringing the heat. There ain't no stopping us. Keep coming back to us, sick ass pods that'll make you hush. www Hush Your Face. www Hush Your Face. www.hushyourface.com.
What do you say we wrap this up?
So nobody else went to California, did they?
Oh, that's right. With all this stuff going on,
Yeah.
somebody went to California.
They just plowed right over it. And I was like, I'm waiting. So, Deuce, what you do? And I'm here waiting. I'm like,
I'm sorry, Deuce. You're
no,
right.
you're not.
Are you going to start talking about California again?
Let's hear about California.
Yeah, we had a great time. Went out there for 11 days.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really great. It seemed like we were there for a month.
Okay.
I mean, in a good way, because it was just so relaxed. We had a really great time. Met Jason and Mindy.
How did that go?
With the Evening Radio Podcast. And they are the most gracious, wonderful people. They walk the talk. They are as you see them on the podcast. They're great people. Mindy arranged a trip to the Hearst Castle, William Randolph Hearst.
I did see the pictures.
Private escape. We went to on a wine tour. We hit 4 wineries and a brewery on a bus tour. That was great. They went above and beyond. They could be like travel agents because we really were like going down there into that part. We were dependent on them and they hit a slam dunk. Jason and Mindy had the best advice, what to do, how to do it. It was really, really great. I put like 1,200 miles on the rent-a-car.
So you had a really good time.
Oh, yeah, it was great. It was epic. And I just like to
thank them again. Been through the desert on a horse with no name?
No, we didn't do the desert.
You went to Alcatraz?
Yeah, Alcatraz was really cool.
Diane got locked out. I like that one.
Yeah. Yeah, just like...
Instead of Deuce letting her in, he just took pictures of her standing outside.
Yeah, well,
you have to. Yeah.
Well, we checked in. I was like, well, I'm going to go wash up. So I go to the bathroom, and I come out, and I'm like, I'm washing my hands, and thinking...
So I get that.
I thought it was the room tour. Right. And then I hear it like on glass, and I turn around, and she's out there all like gesturing and everything. So I was just like,
grab the camera.
Yeah, she's locked out. So I took pictures.
You also did a podcast episode out there?
Yep, we sat in and did a podcast from the lodge that we were staying at, which was awesome. It's nice to. It's the first time I've ever. Well, not the first, but unlike the Jersey Ocean, which is a beautiful slate gray, You see the Pacific Ocean, and it's like a jade turquoise color. We saw elephant seals on the beach. We saw sea lions at Alcatraz. There was no fog because in October the fog lifts out of San Francisco. We saw some light fog, but in the spring and summer, it's almost always enshrouded in fog. You don't see anything. That's normal for out there. And everyone told us, like on 5 or 6 occasions, like, this is the best time of year that you could have come out. And it was just dumb luck because I just always take off in
What
October.
about all the fires? Was there still a lot of fires out there?
We came in on the tail end of that. 3 of the wineries, we understand, burned completely to the ground.
After you were there?
No, that was in Napa Valley. We didn't go to Napa because of the fires. But down in Cambria, which was halfway between LA and Frisco, which is where we met up with Jason and Mindy. That's San Robles Valley. I believe it's a valley. And
Okay.
we hit all the wineries there. I mean, the whole state is a winery. It's
Yeah.
just like, you can't swing a dead cat and not hit a winery.
Okay.
So then we stopped in and saw my mom's brother, who
All right.
I haven't seen him in 8 years. He's turned 77. He doesn't travel much. So I said, well, we're out here now. We popped in to see Uncle Ray.
You have a meal?
Yeah, we went out to dinner.
There you go.
And, and we went to Yosemite. That was epic. Yosemite National Park.
Okay.
And all those pictures. We saw El Capitan. We saw Half Dome. We did a bus tour above him into the valley. We saw that hotel, the Ahwahnee, it was called. It's like an Indian tribe name. It's like it cost $1.2 million in 1927. It's like the hotel in The Shining with the Jack Nicholson movie.
Oh, yeah,
It's
really?
it's like epic.
All right.
And they were like, I wonder what the room rate's here. So I looked into it, and they started about $600 a night.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was like, and the place was packed. I mean, it was like jammed. There was like so many people.
Glad
in
to
there.
see the economy's taking a tank.
Yeah, it's just
right.
it was really awesome. We saw we went to Haight-Ashbury. We went on the cable car tour. We went to Fisherman's Wharf.
You didn't eat seafood there, did you?
No, you get AIDS and die.
Right.
Diane did that.
Yeah, he said.
Okay.
So we did steak. We saw the Presidio. We went over the bridge a couple of times. Hertz, I think, rent-a-car shit a brick when I bought it back.
Why? What's the difference?
Well, because they just figured I was probably just like, I put almost 1,200 miles on the car, and they were like,
Did they say anything?
No, well, they kind of like, you're allowed to.
Right.
But I think they were just figuring, I'm going to be in San Francisco and driving around San Francisco. No, we went.
No. Okay.
Drove 4 hours south and drove 5 hours north to Yosemite, and then 4 hours back to San Francisco. So it was a great time. It really was.
I noticed that Diane was on the podcast out there.
Yeah, well, it's because she hates you.
I noticed that.
No, you didn't have wine here.
If I'd have known.
And no camera.
Chatted up with a storm over there.
Yeah, well.
How about that?
She is. The chatty Cathy when you have liquid courage around.
Yeah.
I was shocked to see how much she actually spoke in the episode.
Yeah. See that?
I was like, this is some shit.
Yeah.
The whole time she sat there, she wouldn't even say anything.
Yeah, right.
And normally she laughs up a storm, and she wasn't even laughing.
Well, she was laughing a little bit.
Well, she wasn't on mic, so.
Yeah.
I felt slighted, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
I really did.
It's the camera.
She owes us an episode.
Well, you better drunk her up and turn off the camera, but you won't do that.
I'll drunk her. I'll drunk her up and
get her,
turn
get
off the
wine,
camera.
Nah,
get
if she
her
knows
wine.
there's a camera, she'll clam right up.
Well, I don't have to turn the camera on.
We can hide it.
Okay, we
Yeah.
can hide it.
Hide the camera.
All right.
Not if she hears this podcast.
But I'll turn the camera off. I'm not.
Hide the camera is what I meant.
Oh,
No, but
hide it.
Yeah. No, but
No, I wouldn't do that to her. That's unfair.
No, but we had a really great time. We were out there for 11 days, and it really did feel like we were out there a lot longer. In a good way. It was just like, I wept the whole way back because I had to come back to work.
Okay. So what the hell happened there?
Any more coming back to New Jersey? It's like, oh, man.
We went out nonstop and came back nonstop. Made great time. I preferred the 737 going out than the Airbus 319 coming in. So it was the first class section wasn't as. That's the other thing. We went out first class.
Okay.
They were drinking beer and wine. It's like,
yeah.
would you like
Stuff
more?
like that.
Oh,
course I would.
Twist my arm.
They want to knock you the hell out.
Yeah,
They don't
right.
want you to be a problem.
Yeah, it was like it was awesome.
Next thing you know, the blanket goes over Diane's head, and
Yeah. And you eat off real china, and you use real silverware, and you drink out of a real glass, and you have like a real meal.
okay.
And you look at all the schlubs like they're sitting
Back
in
in
coach.
coach.
Did you give him
Yeah.
the finger and
Well,
glare?
now I think because of 9/11, that curtain is just like clear mesh. just in case any insane jihadi stand up and
You can attack them.
Right. So it's like, they want to kind of know. It's like, oh, okay, here we go. So yeah, but it was a great, and again, I really can't thank Jason and Mindy enough. They were really terrific to hang out with.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Days. And took us to this awesome restaurant.
That's what it's about.
And, drove us everywhere. They wouldn't let me drive anywhere, so they just didn't know.
That's all for the better. Just get drunk.
So yeah, I mean, I would have thought. Yeah, I had to rent a car, put the miles on my car.
Well, I hear you. Okay, so see, isn't that not what's neat about podcasting? Is you wouldn't even have really known Jason and Mindy if it wasn't really for podcasting.
No, it wouldn't.
It's kind of cool. I think that one of the great things about podcasting is the people that you meet that are actually podcasting. It's not really a competition. It's more of a cooperation. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about it, to be quite honest with you.
And they're like I said, they're the real deal. It's not like, did you ever meet someone, not necessarily, well, maybe you have because you're more immersed in the podcast world, but like you meet someone that you've heard of.
Yes.
And like I met a disc jockey once, a Philadelphia disc jockey.
Okay.
And when he was not behind the mic, complete dick.
Was it John DeBella?
Well, of course it was.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just completely different guy, it's just like, but like there's no airs about them at all. It's just like,
right. I don't,
they are very genuine, sincere people, very sweet.
I'm trying to think if I've met any podcasters that I didn't like.
Not that you didn't like, but they were completely different than.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I met Pierre, and he actually is a very
Pierre's
great guy.
I met them at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I was on Pierre's team on the Spectrum thing.
It was the Larry Richmond.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are telling half stories and half sentences. So, okay, I got you. All right, yeah, so that's cool. I mean, I'm glad you went out there. I'm glad you guys got a chance to meet. I'm glad you had a great time. It sounds real, and they do. They sound like really warm, genuine people.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice.
Yep, and they are.
Actually, people. Yeah, so that's really cool.
They walk the talk.
There we go. All right, let's wrap this thing up. You want to do some podcast shout-outs?
Oh, sure. If you are looking for some other great independent podcasts to check out, we highly recommend these podcasts and the podcasters that do them. The Evening Radio Podcast with Jason and Mindy, part of the Hush Your Face Network. And again, thank you, Jason and Mindy, for showing us a wonderful time.
Bad Cop with Jerry and Dave. They're ready for episode 100 now. Mm-hmm. They just did 99, and they keep saying that they're not going to come back anymore. They say after 100, that's it. And I don't know if they're just breaking everybody's balls or they're serious about this. But I hope not, because I really do enjoy the show.
Mm-hmm.
The Hoonan, Rocky, BB, Drew, and Josh.
The Unwritable Rant with Juliet Miranda.
The Who's Right podcast with Doug and Anthony, part of the Hush Your Face Network. These two guys. So they are now doing YouTube Live. So I happened to be on Twitter and they said, hey, come watch us live. And I'm like, oh my God, how can I not watch this?
How was it?
Well, it was just like watching two guys.
Well, how many times have they done? Because I've been out of the loop for about 3 weeks.
They just did it last Sunday.
Oh, so they've done it once.
They've done it once.
Okay.
All right. So you go and you look there and it's a YouTube video. So it's a Google Hangout.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is whoever's talking, the camera goes to, whoever's watching.
I remember.
Whoever's talking. Yeah, the camera goes there. So Doug talks and his video's nice and clear, white room. You can see everything crystal clear, almost like HD. Anthony's looks like he's in the middle of the desert, like the camera's all foggy, and I think there was some underwear hanging off the mic. I don't know. I just never seen anything like it. It was crazy. It was like it was a big.
That was like
behind.
Part of the theater of the mind, kind of a thing. Like maybe that's his persona.
No,
you think that's genuine?
I think that's genuine. That's how he is.
Oh, he is brilliant.
Whatever. But it was fun to watch him. And then something else was going on. So, of course, they were trying to do something that they didn't know how to do. I can't remember what it was at the time. I can't remember what it was. So, of course, I got Doug's phone number. So while they're podcasting, I call him. He's like, hey, John's on the phone. So he picks up. And now I don't know if I'll be part of the episode, but we're talking back and forth. And I was trying to tell him, oh, I know what it was. They said, oh, look, someone's watching. I don't know how to get comments. So I'm typing in. I'm like, well, he can't see them, so it's stupid to type in. I'll call him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is how you do that. How you get to the comments. But then he had comments up, but he never looked back. So I don't know. Again, it's fun to watch them do something, stretch out and do something different. It was actually fun to watch the show. And you know me, I have to break Anthony's balls just a little bit. And then also, we did one trial run on the Unfit podcast. It crashed and burned. Mm-hmm. We have stuff up there now to do. It's been 3 weeks, and I figured he just didn't want to do it anymore, that he was done and he didn't want to tell me. So I messaged him today and I said, hey, listen, are we going to officially, stick a fork in this Unfit podcast and be done with it? And he's like, no, I want to try it again. Mm-hmm. I've just been really, really busy and I don't have time for it, which, I get that. Mm-hmm. This is going to be tough for me because you know me, I got to plan. I got to psych myself up. I got to get ready for this kind of stuff. Doug's like, hey, I got 20 minutes. I got a pizza in the oven. Let's do this. All right. So then you come downstairs and you're like, okay, and you got to turn it on. I kind of got warm. You got to warm up. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
You need to be wooed.
No, that's not it.
Courted.
I need to get into the mood. I just need to get into the mood to do to open up the mic and do this.
I read.
You guys are speaking French again. I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
There's a Big Bang Theory episode with George Takei in it.
As Mr. Sulu.
Sulu.
I read.
Yeah, something? I've really lost interest in.
I haven't watched any of the new season yet.
No, just that whole thing where.
Well, you know what happened? They turned into Friends.
Yeah, now
the show Friends. That's what they are now. It's like watching that. Fuck this.
Now 2 of them are married.
Yeah.
And now, now you got Sheldon. He's gonna end up married. And the only one that's not going to be married is the Indian guy.
Yeah, the Indian guy. I think he's going to come out as gay or something like that because that's what it's like a requirement now. Oh, we have to
have one
an
gay.
Indian has to be gay.
We have to have somebody gay.
We have to have a gay.
Sorry, Raj, but that's going to be you.
Right. There you go.
He's an Eagles fan, that guy.
Yeah, he went to Temple.
He did?
Yeah.
Raj?
He's a big Eagles fan.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he is.
How about that? That's very cool. Eagles are kicking ass.
See, you watch the show again now.
No. I don't know. It's just not funny. I don't find it funny.
I still think it's cool.
Okay.
I haven't seen a whole lot of the new season, but I still watch it.
They had him. I forget what show it was. It was like one of these local, and he was talking about his, the Eagle because he went to Temple and all. And you should see him do like an imitation of an Eagles or a Philadelphian.
They can really?
Yeah, it's funny as hell because he drops the Indian accent. And it's like
he just breaks right into it.
Yeah, it's just so.
I really would like to see this.
It's like it's pretty.
That's
good.
amazing.
It's on there somewhere. You probably got it.
I'll have to find it. That's cool.
Bro Ron's podcast, Big D and Little R, part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Horribly Awkward with Sean Fuller, part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Ped Miller Show with Matt Meller and Viva La Pedros, part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Rob Slim Show with Rob Slim and Sleepy Lucas, part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Those guys are fucking insane. They really, to watch that show, your jaws open the whole time. I don't know how to explain it.
A lot of energy.
It's a ton of energy.
Yeah.
All from Rob.
Yeah. Tons of energy.
It's amazing.
Telling the Trigger with Daniel, Repulse, Mike, and C3K, Courtney 3000.
Oh, they made her a droid?
Yes.
C3K.
They dropped one of the chicks, and I'm really liking the show.
Who's Mike?
He was one of the original co-hosts.
Oh, okay.
But then he left, and then for episode 100, he came back.
Yeah, okay, that's who that was.
And it was funny on one of the episodes. I think it was not this one that he just put out, but the one before that. They went over the. Remember we filled out the surveys for his show. You did one, and I did it on the air. Well, he read them.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, Deuce says he likes you," and John's like, "Eh." So
I am so backed up on podcasts from just flying around and doing everything in California. I'm only just now cracking the iceberg to get back.
Sometimes you just got to cut. But you can't catch up. You just jump on again.
Nah, well, I'd like to kind of catch up.
But it's hard because they just don't stop. They just keep coming.
Like the mail?
Yes. Basically like the mail.
It keeps coming.
Right.
Don't stop,
sometimes
Jerry.
I'll jump off and just go back into where, I can catch up. Well, then again, some of these Ped and Miller, they were off for like 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. They were off for so long when they came back. I had a hard time understanding them. Like I got used to their English accent and how they talk. And they came back. I'm like, something, I can't understand these guys anymore.
The proper term is how they speak.
Whatever the fuck you say. The way they talk. The accent. What is that? You can't say accent anymore?
No, it's just proper grammar is you speak
that
well.
That fucking train has left the platform fucking years ago. You gotta be kidding me.
I just figured since they were, English.
I don't think they speak proper English, to be quite honest with you.
Probably better than we do. They're
I don't
English.
know about that.
No, they invented the fucking language. I would hope they speak.
It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters.
Doesn't matter.
All right, the story behind with Emily Prokop. Emily put out her 100th episode.
Yes, congratulations,
and
Emily.
it's a musical.
A musical?
And I haven't heard it yet.
Do you listen to podcasts yet?
No, he does
I don't
not.
listen to podcasts. I'm fucking
Do you
busy.
listen to this podcast?
No. He's part of my pet peeves. Like,
God forbid you drive the numbers up, Joe.
Forget about that.
That's what makes me fresh, man. I don't know anything
Well,
about
also,
this shit.
what happens is it also makes you not learn from anything. Like when you listen to yourself talk.
That's how you improve.
That's how you improve.
You'll hear yourself Genghising it up on that mic, slapping your lips around.
Right. You'll be like, oh, I can't.
Yeah, right. Hey, Joe.
Right. So I think one of the best ways you can improve is actually listen to yourself after the show's put out.
Hey, I'm busy warming our...
I know, we're all fucking busy.
I'm busy arming our warships. We got to
for
kick ass.
Christ's sake.
By himself.
Yeah,
That's right.
all by himself.
You got it. Anyway, everyone has a podcast with Adam and Brian. Oh, what? I'm jerking off now?
A little bit. Little bit.
There's a couple that are not here anymore. Is there
you're right.
Any reason for that?
Yeah, because, it was taking us a fucking half an hour to 45 minutes to get through the show.
Well, I didn't know while I was going. Maybe the podcasts end. That's what I was thinking.
No, nothing really went down.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just talk to you about this real quick. So everybody has a podcast with Adam and Brian.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to them. I like them. When you listen to a podcast, sometimes you listen because maybe not as much as the content is you get to know the hosts and you get to know them, and it's a way for you to catch up with those hosts.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to know their flavor of humor. All right? Okay, so I feel that way with Adam and Brian. There's a show out there. It's called Who Are These Podcasts?
Mm-hmm.
And basically what they do, this premise is that they go out and they find a horrible podcast. And then they go and they bring clips and they go through the show. And
they do a real-time review then?
They do a real review, okay?
In real time, in other words. As it's playing, they're reviewing it.
They'll listen. It's basically, this is what happens.
Okay.
This guy, Carl, and he has co-host. He used to have, there was two of them. There was Kevin and Carl. Kevin was the guy that really knew what he was doing. So Kevin said, you know what, I'm done with podcasting, but if you want to keep the podcast going, go ahead. So this guy, Carl, he's one of those guys with one mic. You can't buy two mics. Again, how much is a freaking mic? A mic is $70. All right. A freaking mixer, a 2-mic mixer is like $65. All right. So it's like $250, maybe some $300. And you got a podcast set up. Okay. So his audio quality was horrible and all this stuff. So now what happens is that he goes and these two guys, they pull clips and stuff like that. So they go and they pull the show that they just bashed was Everyone Has a Podcast. And what they did was they took all the clips out of context and they played them where it really made these guys look like assholes. And I was pissed. And you know how I get when I'm pissed.
No, I don't.
I'm trying to, I found, so now I start digging into this guy, Carl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like digging into his life. And I find out he's a guitar player and he plays on this crazy Hawaiian, it was a Hawaiian, like.
Luau music?
It's luau music?
Like Jack Ho?
There's no singing. What do they call it when there's no singing?
Just music.
Right. There's a name for it. I can't fucking think of the name of it. You guys are no fucking help.
Instrumentals?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Hawaiian instrumental podcast where these guys go in here.
You guys are no help.
Right. You look at me like I'm fucking retarded. So
without me,
I'm sitting here. I'm begging for somebody to throw me a fucking lifeline. You guys
throw me a freaking bone.
Yeah. Can't believe we're not on. We'll be in the next show of Who Are These Podcasts. So
he's in a musical.
Yeah, he's in this crazy musical band, and they dress up like nerds. So they wear the white shirts with the pocket protectors and these green fucking fluorescent ties, and they play this instrumental music.
Industrial
music.
In Hawaii.
Right. And so, I mean, the thing about it is.
That sound.
I don't mind. You know what? If they really get a horrible show or something like that. I mean, a really horrible show.
Like Crimes and Cocktails horrible?
Like Crimes and Cocktail horrible. Or something like that. You know, I really don't mind it. You know, Tom and Steve horrible. Oh, them pricks, they gave us a 1-star review because I fucking mentioned them, you know, in turn with another podcast. And that fucking asshole Tom went over and gave us a 1-star review, which I'm proud of that one, to be quite honest with you. So they really basically bashed Adam and Brian's show, and I just, it's not a bad show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, maybe it's because I know these guys. I know them personally, so I enjoy listening to them. I enjoy, this is how I catch up with them, to be quite honest with you. And I feel the same way. There's a Couple Things podcast that I got on Bad Cop, Bad Cop. They said they didn't like the show. Well, I can understand that because it's probably not their cup of tea. It's not really it's not edgy humor for them. But the reason I know these guys is because I knew them when they very first started podcasting, and I knew the guy.
Ben?
Not Ben, the other guy. Jesus Christ, I can see his face. I can't think of his name. Ray, he's the one that does he's basically the sound guy behind everything. Mm-hmm. And he does all that. So I knew him when he first started. So I started listening to podcasts. I got to know him and his wife and Molly and Ben. And, I like them. Matter of fact, on Twitter, we go back and forth, and Ohio State was playing Penn State, and fucking Penn State was whooping their ass all the way up to the third quarter.
Oh, yeah. And then
so I'm like just giving it to her on Twitter. And them assholes, they just stop playing. And then Ohio State comes all the way back and wins the game.
Now,
see? Right. So, of course, I'm giving her the business. So then on her podcast, the next podcast, they're talking in the middle of everything. She goes, oh, by the way, I just want to say something.
Suck it, John.
Yeah, so I got to suck it, John. Because, but I'm saying is, I get to know these people personally. So, I enjoy their podcasts. It might not be for everybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's different. I like the Pizza Podcaster podcast, the guy that just records himself as he goes around and delivers pizzas. He just talks about different stuff. He just talks. It's like riding in a car with a guy.
It's like what's it, HBO, the cabbies?
Yeah, kind of sort of like that. And so it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's my cup of tea. Mm-hmm. So I try to tell people what I like. Now, if you don't like it, that's fine. I mean, there's some shows that I hear other people shout out, and I went and listened to them. Not my cup of tea. Mm-hmm. But I'll come in here and bash them. And they're trying. They're spending money. They're trying. Mm-hmm. They're doing what they can.
There's a million things you can listen to out there. You're not going to like them all. It'd be great if you could, but
I just started listening to this one podcast. I love it. Actually, it's I don't know if it's an independent podcast or not, to be honest with you. The name of it is Two Girls, One Podcast. And I thought to myself, 2 girls, 1 cup, 2 girls, 1 podcast.
Well, that's what the play is on, yeah.
Right. So it's these 2 girls. They live in New York, and they do plays about Reddit threads and what's going on?
I don't know. He's speaking French even to me.
What?
Oh, I'm thinking of the Family Guy when Brian does
with Stewie. Yeah, he shows that. Yeah.
2 girls, 1 cup to Stewie. It just popped in there.
I got you. I hear you.
Obviously lesbians.
I'll never eat ice cream again.
That's true. So I was going somewhere, and I that was my own fault because I dug into that.
Two girls, one podcast.
Oh, yeah. So anyhow, what they do is they have a place where they do plays, and they'll actually act out like a Reddit thread or a Facebook post, and they'll actually act it out. So they have this podcast, and it's actually pretty good. What they do is they interview people with like kind of fetishes. Like do you believe there's a balloon fetish?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's an ass for every chair.
And they have like a furry fetish where, people dress up like animals.
Oh, furries.
Yeah, furries.
You said furry, like people dress up as furries.
Furries.
Furry. Like boats,
What am I saying? Oh.
You're saying furries, like you get on a ferry and cross a river.
Furry. They're furries. So they dress up like furries.
Furries.
What's the difference between furries and furries?
Furry.
Furries?
Furry.
Not furries.
No. A furry fetish. You're like, wow, that's a new one.
Furry.
Yeah. Well, then there's. Yeah. Well, along with the furries, there's a. Did you hear that the guy that they're called bronies?
Yes.
Yeah. I wouldn't even I would be ashamed.
What are they?
They're the ones that like My Little Pony.
They're guys that are into like My Little Pony, the cartoon kids show. And they dress up as like My Little Pony.
They have a little My Little Brony.
Oh, man.
They're known as bronies.
The other one they had was women that have a beard fetish. And what they do is there's a.
The bad thing is they also have stinky vaginas. You better stock up on mattresses, big boy.
Stinky vagina with a beard fetish.
By the way, we'd like to introduce our new sponsor, Casper Mattresses.
case you have a girlfriend with a stinky clam, we can have a new mattress to you overnight.
Well, don't you buy the, now they sell the whole, the plastic sealer you just encapsulate your mattress in, so nothing.
I don't know, man. Well, first of all, would you want to sleep on
Sounds like
plastic?
really hot.
Yeah,
I would
want
sweat your
Oh,
balls
it's
off.
great in the wintertime, man, I'll tell you. But,
Very
Maybe.
Yeah, if you're
But-
in Alaska.
Well, the thing that got me off, it's, the whole bed bug thing. It's like, oh, you know what?
That's
Let me
true.
just put this thing in a condom and that's it. I want,
My mattress is in a condom.
yeah, it's like a mattress condom.
big
but,
giant condom.
but
See, now, if I would have
you'll
had a
never have
mattress
to throw,
condom,
yeah, if you had
I
the
wouldn't
mattress
have to
condom,
throw
you
it
would have
out.
to throw the mattress away.
Yeah, if you're throwing the plastic away,
That's it.
would have been cheaper.
Yes, absolutely.
You just get another one.
Yeah, there's a lot of sick fetishes out there. Bronies.
Right. Well, the one was the beard fetish. It was like an app, like a Tinder app for beards. Like you would take a picture of you with your beard, and women would get on there and they'd swipe left or swipe right, and tell you if you have a good beard or not. I don't know.
I like the fetishes that, authorities have to warn people not to do it because it could be fatal, like the wine enema fetish. That was a big deal for a while.
I missed the wine enema fetish.
Yeah.
Well, you get drunk fast.
Oh, you get drunk super quick.
Oh,
You're injecting alcohol
Yeah, right.
up your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
the problem is,
you jam a wine bottle up your ass into a headstand? Is
nah,
that-
well, I guess they
they
use
put it in a
douche or whatever.
The enema
Oh, they
fetish.
put it in a bag and
Yeah,
you
they put it in a
squeeze
bag.
it in?
or
and
a
they warm it up
turkey
a little bit.
baster or whatever.
The problem
hell
is you're
they're
putting
doing.
straight alcohol in your
your ass.
your digestive.
I guess
So
that
you're
would work with-
absorbing that blood alcohol
yeah,
content
it's
real
fucking
fast.
alcohol poison.
Yeah,
You go right.
you're
I guess that would work with anything. Tequila.
oh
Well, yeah.
You just might as well climb into the ambulance. And go right, fill her up.
Grain alcohol.
Everclear.
Wow. That would burn like, oh my goodness.
I fell into a burning ring of fire.
I wonder if Everclear would work for a stinky twat.
Yeah, you throw a match on it, it sure will.
Could you imagine?
Burn, baby, burn.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, what could you use? I mean, I don't know. What are women? I'll tell you what. If you're going to use Vicks Vapor Rub, that's only to me. That's only a step down from
Yeah, I
icy,
would think so.
You might as
Icy
well
hot.
just use Everclear and be
Yeah.
done with it. Yeah.
Dude, have you ever, okay, so I used to use Icy Hot, like sometimes, for my knees
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
me
stuff
too.
like that.
Yeah.
So you'd rub Icy Hot on your knees and,
and
the
then you
next
have
thing
to take a piss or something.
and you,
There you go.
oh my
Yeah, I know.
God.
Every man has done it.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Well, obviously not. I've never done that, but
Yeah,
I
really?
get the picture. No, I've never used
I never used Icy
Oh.
Hot.
No, I never. I'm
Okay.
lucky that way.
My
I
aunt's
really am.
husband, she has a friend, the scrubbing bubbles.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was funny as hell.
So what happened with the scrubbing bubble?
Go ahead.
He was slicing peppers, and I think they were like habaneros or one of the hotter ones and everything. Well, his hands started burning and everything. You wash them and all that, and you think you're good to go. No,
Water's
doesn't-
just regular water's the
Yeah.
worst thing to
The
use.
water
'cause
will
it's
just
gonna
spread it around.
Okay.
So
It's
he
like when
went
you
to the
eat them.
he went to the bathroom. He went to take a piss. Now his fucking balls are on fire.
Balls are on fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Right. So what does this guy do? He gets a can of scrubbing bubbles and sprays it on.
And that made it worse.
Yeah, it made it worse. Fuck.
Why scrubbing bubbles?
It was
Because
handy,
they
I
do
guess.
the work. You don't have to.
Like, I guess what would you do? Would you dunk your balls? Would you teabag a cup of milk?
I don't know what he did. I assume that he sprayed it either directly on or on his hands and tried to wash it off or something, and found he was just spreading the peppers around. It's like it's not going to.
Yeah, it's like when you eat peppers. The worst thing you could do is drink water because
Yeah.
it spreads it. They say to drink milk or alcohol,
Right.
Because it
Okay.
encapsulates.
I'll tell you what.
the hot shit.
The party I had about a month ago, I bought some of those Carolina peppers. The ones that
The Reapers.
yeah. Oh yeah. I says, well, let me try it because I'll cut them, put them in a wheel and all that. Well, let me try these. This time I was smart. I put gloves on. Guess what?
Right
Through the gloves.
Right through the fucking gloves. I'm feeling these things are on fire.
Wow.
And then I get them off and everything, and so I put them in the jar and everything. Well, the next day I grabbed the jar and all. I said, maybe I won't use these. These are really hot. So I put the jar back up on the shelf. After a while, my fucking hand's burning.
Okay.
I was like, how the hell is my hand burning? All I did was picked up the jar. Well,
Was that-
it must have been some residual.
Some juice on it or
Yeah,
something.
it's
I'll tell you what, they're
Yeah,
nasty.
I threw them out. I can't. There's no. I
That
can't-
tells me not to eat them.
Right, exactly.
There's
If
absolutely
they're burning your skin.
There's absolutely nothing you can do with them peppers.
Absolutely, except like sabotage somebody or
use it
torture
as a
someone.
weapon. You can weaponize it. That's
Weaponize
about all.
peppers.
Yeah.
All right, so I got one more story to tell you. This is kind of embarrassing, but I'll do it for the show. All right, so I'm about 18 or 19 years old.
And you rubbed your hands in peppers and jerked off?
No, I did not rub my hands in peppers and jerk off. But I did have a severe case of jock itch, where it was like it was down. It was all raw and everything, and it was almost down. It was like halfway down my thighs. And they gave you this. I went to the doctors, and the doctor's like, "Wow." When a doctor goes, "Wow,"
he's impressed.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, "Wow."
Yeah.
All right.
Woo, man.
So, I mean, it's just like a raw piece of bologna, and he's giving me this cream and everything. So I go to the doctor. I'm 18 or 19, so I don't tell my parents because I'm kind of embarrassed. So I'm in there, and my dad sees the cream in my bedroom. He's like, "What's that for?" Well, I got a little bit of jock itch. He goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "How bad is it?" I go, "It's pretty bad." "Let me see." "I don't know, Dad. But let me just show you this." So I pull my pants down. I have my underwear on. And back then you had tighty whities. So I just moved things to the side and I showed him my thigh and he goes, "Holy shit." Again, saying that it was really, really bad. So you know what he says to me? I swear to God, he was trying to fucking kill me. He says, "You know what? When I have jock itch or athlete's foot, I use Lysol."
Oh.
I go, "The stuff you put in a bucket and mop the floors with? No, the spray can."
The spray?
I said, he goes, "I'm telling you, it really, really works."
Did it work?
So don't get ahead of me. So I go into the bathroom. I'm like, you know something? I'd piss on a spark plug right now to make this better. So, okay. So I pull my pants down. I pull my underwear down. I move the boys to the side. I get the Lysol and I give it a spray. I spray it, man. And I'm telling you, I sprayed that and it was like, all right, so now I got to lift the other side, and you know it's going to hurt. So I do the other side, same thing, and I'm dancing around, okay, and I'm cursing up a storm. So I come walking out, I'm limping, and my dad goes, "You sprayed that with Lysol?" I go, "Yeah." I wake up the next day, it was 50% better. Now I'm telling you, when I sprayed that, I had a hold of the sink. And I swear to God, I left fingerprints in the porcelain.
Indentations.
It hurt so bad.
I guess it did.
The next day, it was 50% better. So I'm like, shit. So I tried it again. I sprayed myself 3 days with that. It went away. Forget that fucking cream that the doctor gave me. That didn't do shit.
That cream.
Now, I was 18 or 19 years old. I'm 56 years old right now. I've never had jock itch again. So.
Did you used to get it a lot?
Back then I did, yeah.
Really?
I don't know what it was. I guess I had a stinky crotch. I don't know. Yeah. I had some kind of yeast infection. I don't know what the fuck it was.
So that
had a yeast
bread thing going on, huh?
I had some kind of bread thing. Well, I'll tell you what, that Lysol wiped it out. And I've never had a problem with it since. Now,
you're the first person I've ever met that, well, maybe you're just the first person that ever admitted to it. No one I know has ever said they've had that.
We need to put together a John's book of remedies. Okay, he's got that. He's got, electrical shock to fix a headache.
Yeah. That did work.
Fix a headache.
Knocks out a headache,
Yeah, that was, I was working a job and I had just a nagging, almost it was all day. It was like a migraine. And I was doing something and I grabbed something and it grounded me and I reached down and I hit the hot whatever and I could feel it went right through my arm, across my chest, out the other side. I mean, it was a good one. It banged me good. I was like, you yell, "Motherfucker." And what happened? "Oh, I just got hit." They're like, "How bad?" I'm like, "I'm all right. And I had the headache and all, and within a minute, the headache was gone. It was amazing.
All that blood was flowing. Yeah, just like
I'm telling you, I got nailed
between
pretty good.
The adrenaline rush and the blood circulating. It was like
it went away. Yeah,
that's what it had to be.
The other elevator story I haven't thought of in a while, just kind of brought up was I was working in Holiday Inn right over by the stadiums, and they have these old controllers up there. So in the back, they have the drop lights you used to use for cars. Now I don't know why. I guess because they didn't have anything better back in the day, but they had the drop lights and they had the metal frame around them, so you didn't burn
the cage.
The cage. So I was looking for something. I forget. So I had the drop light, and I'm in there looking around or something. So I go to hang it back on the hook, and I missed the hook, and it came out of my hand. I'm like, oh, and it dropped. And when it dropped right on a transformer.
Oh,
more than meets the eye.
So as I go for it to try to catch it, I drive it into the transformer. With that, big giant light. Now I can't see a fucking thing because it's like I looked at the sun. I got this big giant spot in front of my face, and I can't think. And all I hear is, ooh, I hear the generator shut down. I'm like, oh, fuck.
It's like the Death Star
tractor beam.
All right. And with that, I hear the bells ringing. The fucking elevators are full of fucking people. So now I'm jammed up. So back then we had walkie-talkies. So I grabbed the walkie-talkie and I said, hey, anybody over by the Holiday Inn? And they go, you in trouble? I go, yeah, kind of. I said, I need a hand over here. Can you come over real quick? And he goes, well, give me about, I said, no. Kind of need, I got a situation here. So then my boss is on this. What kind of situation? Nothing. We got it. I just need somebody over here real quick. So the guy was up the street. So it takes me 5 minutes. He comes pulling in. He comes walking up. He goes, what's going on? He had to walk all the way up to the top because all the fucking elevators are shut down.
Right.
So he goes walking up to the top. He goes, what's going on? I said, dude, I got a flash. I can't see anything. All I could see out of the corner of my eye was like maybe a foot of like this. That's all I could see. Everything else was a big flash. So he goes, all right, sit down. So I sit down and he's like, so I hear him. So I can hear. I hear, oh, this fuse is bad. This fuse is bad. This fuse is bad. So he puts all the new fuses back in. He turns on the elevator and you hear, they start back up again, and they all get to the floors. And he had to take me to the doctors. Yeah. And and the next day it feels like someone threw sand in your.
Oh, that's welder slash. Yeah.
Oh,
when I was a welder, man, that's no joke. And it's horrible. An all-day event, man.
Yeah, it was. I'd take the day off. I couldn't even see. It was terrible. All right, that's enough of that. We've rambled way too long.
Well, you said you wanted to do a 3-hour show.
I really didn't want to do a 3-hour show.
Well, you're going to be doing a lot of editing now.
Yeah, well, that's because that's my own fault. But I'll tell you one thing. I know when I go to look at a podcast, even a podcast that I really, really like when I see I see a podcast and it's like 2.5 hours, I'm like, oof, that's an undertaking. Mm-hmm. And I have a tendency not to listen to them. But if I see anything from an hour to an hour and a half, I have no problem with it. Mm-hmm. So for me, I think that's the sweet spot. Somewhere between an hour and 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. So even if we have to take this thing and break it up into 2 shows, I don't care. I think, coming back out of the box after 3 weeks, I don't think we were bad. I mean...
Well, constipated.
Yeah. The fat, lazy Jersey tongue was...
As Raj would say, a little constipated.
Yeah, a little constipated. All right, let's get on out of here. So, if you enjoyed this show, then do me a favor. Tell a few friends. Even just share it out on your social media.
And don't forget our Patreon page.
No, we don't have fucking Patreon. Put your money in your pocket. We don't want any of your money. All we want to do is if you like this show, find a couple friends that you know would like this show too and tell them about it.
Share the love.
How to do it. Share the love. That's all we want you to do. We don't want your money. You know what? I got it. Whatever it takes, a couple shekels a week. I got it. I'll do it. And we're here to entertain. Hopefully, while you're doing something, you're mowing the lawn or you're working at your desk and
breaking the leaves,
something like that. Just pop us in your ears, and hopefully we just make it go a little bit better and a little bit faster. That's all we're trying to do. And if you like, we would love it if you would reach out to us on social media. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/BrandXPodcast. We are on the Twitter at BrandX Podcast. We're also on Instagram at BrandX Podcast. Just like and follow us and share us with your friends. We would really appreciate it. And join in on the conversation. And guess what? We have an email address, brandxpod@gmail.com. You can also call into the Time Yours voicemail. None of you are doing it, but you could if you wanted to. We don't always bust your balls like we bust Doug's balls. And that number is 856-322-2473. Leave a message, and we will feature your voicemail on the next Time's Yours segment. Thank you very much for listening. Come on back next week for another episode of the Brand X Podcast. I know an array of useless feminine wash. God damn it. I once dated a man who insulted my vagina. He said it didn't smell right. He said he was an ass. Wait a minute. Let me try this again.
He was an ass in other ways.
He was an ass in other ways, too, but I didn't see it until he
impugned. I've been waiting with bated breath, so you got to that room. I was like, oh, boy.
I can't wait till he gets this one.
Boy, is this great.
when it came around to telling me how my vagina could be better if it finally clicked at this. What the fuck is on? When? Deuce, read that, please. I can't.
What did you leave off?
You want to do that one?
Yeah, I want to do that one. I like that.
All right, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah,
read on.
Let me just bring it up. Hold on. Okay. Oh, I got to get the PDF. Okay. A former substitute teacher.
Hold on. Stop.
What?
Don't into the story. Take a break and then do it so I can cut that out. Stop. Just do the story.
You told me to do it and then take
Now,
a break.
Jesus
now
Christ.
I'm busting your balls. All right.
Okay. I'll tell you what, these vocal exercises are not doing me any good.
Yep, there you go.
I might have, you know what? I might have actually sprained my tongue today while I was doing my verbal exercise.
Aren't they called elocution lessons?
Whatever. I can't even say that. So they must not be doing
Yeah.
a good job.
Alrighty.
Here we go.
Yeah. Bro Ron's. Yeah, let me start this over.
Will you shut the fuck up so I can end the recording?
That's it. We're just getting into it.